Gosh, I love starting the stream with a little bit of Legend of Zelda music. Any Wind Waker fans in the chat? This is the wrong overlay. Hi, folks. How we doing today? Ooh, I'm looking scruffy. I'm so sorry. Ugh. Beard is long, head is floof, camera's too zoomed in. Howdy, folks. Welcome to Smootnoot. And we're going to play a little bit of Merlin, and then we're going to go and jump into some VOD review. Zats, my dude, do you want to come and join us for some games? Would you like to join? Why the fuck is there a Discord fucking... Why? Who decided to put Discord overlay on by default? The fuck? I do not want overlay. No. No overlay. Novelay, more like. Yeah, alright. Fucking, yeah, get in here, mate. Let me, hold on. Where are you? There you go, mate. Come and jump into one of the rooms, and I will, I will pull you in. There's another update I played 30 minutes ago. Oh, no. Right, let's have a look. What's new in Sm2? Really low-res looking Willick skin, apparently. Let's have a look here. More Rise of the God stuff. No. I really want the fucking Amaterasu skin, but I'm sure we'll get there. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, 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 ba-dum. Okay, I've got 600 coins. I guess we buy the diamonds, right? Yeah. Yeah. Put Gwen. Oh, why does Susano look so squished? Okay, it's good to see that they put the best Zoo skin back in the game. What else is around? Oh, I don't have quite 500 diamonds. Boo. Boo, I say. Boo! Did you do the last two I redeemed? Yes. You just weren't there. That doesn't mean that I didn't do them. You just weren't there. Alright. What the fuck did they do to Merlin? Let's have a look here. Ooh, daddy. Oh. Well, I've got a Toucan, so we'll Toucan him. Let's see here. Using an ability provides 1 stack of overload. Firing a basic attack consumes a stack of overload. Deals. Okay, that's the same. Eclipse. Conjure a celestial orb. Okay, exactly the same. Marked enemies take additional magic damage if they stay within the outer range. Okay, yeah. What? Okay, that's the same. That's the same. Okay. So the kit's already the same. They have added something to Flicker, which is new. Heal 30% of the damage taken within the last 4 seconds? God fucking damn. That's... I need a writing tip. A writing tip. Writing for what? That's it's a very varied question. It's gonna depend on what it is that you're actually writing. Alright, hold on. I gotta go do some pushies and stuff. Give me a sec. Fuck's sake. Fuck! I also need to add Zats in game. How do I write a same-sex couple without sounding too insertive? The same way that you would write a normal sex couple, I suppose. Like, just because it's two dudes or two gals doesn't necessarily mean that you have to write them any different, right? People in a relationship are still just people. Don't think about it too much. Don't overthink it. Yo, what's up, Kane? When did Smite 2 come out? Like a year ago? They announced it like 2 years ago without sounding like forced rep. If people who want to see something as forced representation are gonna see it that way anyway. You can't, unfortunately, some people will just see, oh, there's a gay person in my thing that I'm reading or saying, it's woke, it's all stupid woke. But most people won't care. I'm doing pretty okay, thank you, Kane. How are you doing? It's been a while. I gotta go do some stupid exercise. Hold on. Fuck, my office is a bit of a mess. Okay. Pushies. Gotta realign my body. Hold on. There we go. One more. Ugh. Really struggling with those these days. Fuck, you know. Ugh. My body is shit. Everything is shit. Doing crunches now. 2. Gotta do 10 of each. Ugh. Oh, okie dokie. Wow. Hey, Zats. Wow? What are we wowing? You wowing me? I know. I'm just amazing. What you saying? I see a decade-long Smite player in that body. Flex. Thanks, Kane. Whew. Okay, right. Let me recenter myself. I definitely own those trousers. They're pajamas. I'm in comfies. Want round 2? Sure, but later, if that's okay. Yeah. Very much PJs. We're a big fan of in this household, you come home from work, you get into comfy PJs, you chill out for the rest of the day. That's our ethos. If we're at home, we want to be as comfy as possible. Therefore, the comfies go on. Loading up. Sick. I sent you a link to the Discord if you just want to jump into any channel, preferably the waiting room, but any VC will do, and I will drag you up. Anybody else want to join? Usk, you wanna jump in? Hold on, I just want to read what Gwen said. The biggest thing in romance in general, the biggest thing is romance in general can't be forced, and that's the same for same sex or different sex. If it feels natural, then there's a good chance you'll be fine. Yeah, I think that's right. Oh no. I left my ring in my jeans. Can't see any voice channels yet. You just gotta jump through the rules. Gotta tick the rules. Or like tick a little thing that says that you've seen the rules. Can't play Conquest for the life of me? That's okay. No worries. It's that. How do you like Smite 2, and is it very different from the first one? Yes and no. Listen, Smite 2 is so much more fun than Smite 1. I will fight anyone who says otherwise because they're just lying. Smite 2 it feels more fun. It feels more just nice to play. It's a lot smoother, it's a lot more mechanically satisfying. In terms of your major gameplay, it is pretty much the same game, pound for pound. Like you're not really missing too much. You'll see, Kane. You'll see. Hey, Zads.
Ooh,
Ooh.
that's I'm hearing you twice now. Hang on.
I gotta get you into the party. Is it just Zats on Smite as well?
Should be, yeah, exactly the same.
Zats.
Oh, hang on. Shaders, pre-compiling shaders. Very sorry.
That's fine. There's nothing to apologize. We're in a nice chill. It's just a nice chill day. We're in our pajamas. I've got the wonderful smell of mac and greens wafting up the stairs towards me. Yeah, I got to leave work an hour early today.
Must be nice. Merlin is in the game.
Merlin is in the game. Boy, am I excited to play some fucking Merlin. One of my favorite mid laners of all time. Yeah. I still can't believe they put jump stamps back in the game. Like, how do you justify a thing that actively puts you at a competitive disadvantage?
I know. Yeah, people, they'll still use them at all.
Oh.
Right, where am I?
Cupid is disabled. And I don't mean someone's, like, run up and broke one of his legs. Like, the character is temporarily disabled. You've said Cuckoo Han. Do you mean Kukul Khan? Or, do you mean Kukulane? Or do you mean Kabrakan? Or... Yes? This does not help me. If you want Kabrakan, he is in the game. If you want Kukulkan, he is also in the game. Where is he? Where's that fucking noodle? There he is. There's the Kukulkan. Is the most banned god as he's glitched. Oh! That's sub-ideal. What's the glitch? What have they done? What have they done? What did they do? Do you have a favorite god that's in the game at the moment, Zans?
If it's not Merlin, I don't know. Probably Hecate, actually.
Hecate, yeah, boy.
Big Hecate fan.
Man after my own heart.
I'm excited for. There's quite a few exciting ones coming up, I think.
Well, I'm seeing
Cerberus.
Yeah,
next.
Cerberus is the coming soon at the moment.
Oh, you can see them.
Yeah, they have like the next one.
Hmm.
Coming into the game, like slapped in here. I think they've done a really good job so far, Kane, at kind of mainline funneling gods into Smite 2, which is, you know, obviously the biggest issue that a lot of people had with the game on release. There's still only 35 gods? 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. Okay, way more than that. 42, 48, 54, 55. There are 55 gods. Nope, there are 54 gods in the game, and Cerberus is coming soon. There you go. So there's a decent amount of characters in the game, but there's still obviously that's like way under half still of the amount of characters that we had in Smite 1. But they have said that every Smite 1 god is coming to Smite 2 eventually. In the first one, you have to buy a god pack. Do you need to do that? I actually don't know. Because I have the... I got, obviously, given the... the what's it? What's it called? Oh, I actually don't remember what the fuck it's called. Shit. The Founder Edition. Yes. I got given the Ultimate Founder Edition thing. So I'm actually not sure if the gods are locked behind God Pass or not. Did you, Zats, do you know?
Wait, what?
Do you, basically, so, someone in chat is asking if Ultimate God Pass is still in the game. Or if you just get all gods unlocked from the start.
I don't... Yeah, I think any Founders Pass does that, right?
I think
so.
I think so. I'm not
Yeah.
entirely sure.
Yeah, I think that's right. Because I've only got the basic one. And I have all gods.
Okay, I guess I'm playing ADC Merlin, is what's
Yes.
happening here. I need to go and find an ADC Merlin build. Fuck. Merlin. View builds. Carry. Okay, there's been a few. Okay, it's literally just building the mage build, but in carry. Okay.
Can't go wrong.
They're locked. Oh, wait. Basic needs to be bought too? No. Smite 2's free now. Isn't it? Just to play?
Yeah.
So you shouldn't need a pack to play the game. What's my go-to site for builds? There is a website called Smite 2 Live that tracks most of the high-tier players and some content creators. Not me, though. And basically just goes, here's what they built in their games. That's literally it. It would be like if they, I would like if they would allow you to transfer over the Smite 1 accounts to Smite 2. You can do that. You can do that. You get all your gems. I know that's not much, but like you get the same name and you get your gems, etc. One of these, one of those. I'm gonna go Zoom Orb. Zoom Orb or Book, do you think? I think Zoom Orb. Zoom Orb will be better. Well, not all skins are in the game, right? But if you got, like, a skin in Smite 1 that was cross-gen, that does still carry over to Smite 2. So, yeah, still technically yes.
Greetings.
Oh my goodness.
Enjoy this fine. Good luck to all.
It's so fun seeing Merlin in the game. Oh,
Missed that voice.
the Eclipse looks so pretty. Have you played yet? Like Merlin?
I've played a couple of games, yeah.
The effects look so good. Oh my goodness. Also looking at all the skins and account stuff that people have bought on Smite 1. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, that was always going to be the hard sell of moving to Smite 2. Was, like, people have spent thousands of dollars, pounds, whatever on Smite 1. And then they're like, but what if, new game? Where none of that is in anymore. Go Buckers. Trial by fire! God. I will say, it shouldn't have to feel nostalgic to get a character that you haven't played in, like, a year.
Your left tower is under attack.
Although I am disappointed, I heard something about his aspect being, like, random. Like, all your abilities are
Yeah.
random. It's not in the game yet.
No, no.
Deeply
Look,
disappointing.
Yeah, that would have been perfect for the ADC, surely.
Ow.
Your right tower
Oh,
is under
no! My boy died. He died.
Good start.
Wait, did he die? No, he's not dead. Wait, what? I swear I just saw he ass die.
I died. I died in mid.
Oh, it was you!
ally has been slain.
Ah.
Sad.
Oh gosh, for the first time ever in my history of playing Smite 2, I'm out of mana. Have you noticed that? Is that just a me thing?
Yeah, normally you're good for mana on any mage. And you got sands.
Yeah.
An enemy has been slain. Feeling a bit cold. Your left tower is under attack.
Whoa. You would love the low changes they did to Twinblazy. Oh, tell me. I mean, I've seen the changes to Flicker. Has there been anything else major that they've changed?
Gods of frost.
Okay. Don't okay me! I didn't know what you were doing!
Glasses click again.
Oh! Oh! Ah! Lamau!
Big assist.
Excellent. Ankles shattered. I don't even think Anha has legs anymore.
Your
I think
middle
they're all
tower is
gone.
under attack.
Oh my gosh. Oh no.
Be right back.
You hate to see it on the enemy team. I love seeing it.
Blink again.
I still think I should get type advantage. I hit Ymir with anything from my fire stance, he takes double damage.
Behind us.
Should be the rule. Skeleton DP, he was so happy to kill the Frost Giant God. He was just there like, victory! Oh my god. Oh my god. There ain't no way! Oh my goodness, these guys got fucking giga juked again! I don't even care that I died, that was funny.
Your right tower is under attack.
Oh gosh. The dot damage and the ice auto cancel? Wait, what? Tell me more. Tell me, Uskebe. Tell me the secrets. Actually, Zats, you tell me. My analyst. Guys, my analyst is here.
Oh.
Tell
I'm
me.
Under pressure now.
Tell me about the new things that Merlin has been gifted with.
Your right tower is
As far as I know, it's just on the flicker, right?
Enemies incoming.
It's like,
ally has
depending
been
on your
slain.
stance, you get a different effect on your flicker, I think. Would you like me to go into detail about
Yes.
each one?
Absolutely.
Ice stance, you get 5 seconds off all your abilities, which is nuts.
That is crazy.
Sorry.
Purple stance, you get heal
Enemy
from the last 4 seconds or something. And then fire one, I think.
is under attack. Your middle
I don't know
tower
what
is
fire
under
one
attack.
does.
I think it's dot damage.
Oh, okay.
Or extra dot
More
damage?
fire damage.
More fire damage. Go away, Ymir. You're not scary. I'm not scared of you.
I'd better see if I can do something here.
Oh.
There's no way! I can't believe that.
That's
I can't believe that didn't pull.
Anha's just used his ult.
I'm so
Should be-
sorry. I don't see why that didn't pull. That's
It's alright.
crazy.
As long as you kill the laner, I'm chill.
Ugh. I'm flabbergasted.
Talking about their ankles being broken. I'm just upset I don't have Zoom Orb yet. That's my main sadness.
Your right tower.
Also, it's
is
very
under
weird to
attack.
play ADC when the enemy support literally never leaves your lane.
Yeah.
No
That's
me
a
gusta.
true dual lane.
It's a they stick together now and always.
Enemies behind. Killing spree. An ally has been slain.
Okay. Okay, I now possess the ability to zoom. Okay, so Soul Gem next.
Shifting side. Your middle tower is under attack. Your right tower is
Why? Why is Ymir just here still? My purple buff is about to come up if you want to
Yeah.
help me
I'll head
defend
over.
against this invade. Up in 3, 2, 1.
gods of
Thank you.
Ymir's. Oh, there he is.
Wait, are you telling me Ymir is here?
Oh no, Ymir is here in front of me.
Oh.
Ow.
I hear Ymir is invincible, but very sore.
He hurt.
Is there any comments on this?
He hurts a bucket load. Ow! my ult's not going off.
Is the Willix broken?
an enemy.
Ah, that's twice I've pulled someone, and
Is-
it's not gone off for whatever reason.
Is the Willix broken, or is this a skill issue?
I hope it's not a skill issue. It was the same with the Ymir. It looked like he was in the air, but
Double kill.
maybe not. Maybe the range on that pull has gotten a lot shorter or something.
I don't know where Anhur has gone, and I'm very scared. Damn, I missed. But I am safe. I missed, but I'm safe. That's the main takeaway. Oof, gosh, I forget how intense things are in dual lane.
I hate it over there. Can't play duo. Can't
I also-
play duo without a duo.
Yeah, that's
Your
valid.
middle tower is under attack.
Hey!
Until our glasses clink again.
Oh, that's actually very
Your
cute.
left tower is under attack. You owe me.
Now I've got Ymir over here again. Ooh, and it looks like Fenrir wants to join the party.
Ooh, not quite.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your right tower
Okay.
is under attack. Your left tower is under attack.
That's both ults. They're just running me down and right.
Yeah, I can come over.
Your
There's nothing
right
to do
tower
now. Like,
is under
Ymir literally
attack.
just, like, walks behind my tower.
Pyromancer has arrived.
And then I cannot go anywhere. I'm just little magic man. What am I supposed to do? What? So chat,
This
tell me
is
about your
not good.
days. It's nearly Wednesday. It's nearly halfway through the week. How are we feeling? Commit war crimes? Okay, that's doesn't really tell me much about your week, but I appreciate the feedback. I will now go and commit war crimes.
Ah. My old thing go off again.
The shield. The ultimate shield.
Dang. Something is... Now, this might just be a theory, right? Hear me out. Something tells me Merlin isn't a great ADC. I understand
Could
that
be
might be
worse.
controversial.
At least he's got stims on his autos of some kind.
Ooh. Red buff for Mises? Help! Help! There's an angry cat!
Your middle tower.
I pissed off a cat! Okay, I'm alive. I'm fine. Everything is okay.
Your left tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain. Your left tower has been destroyed.
Okay. I've done that thing that really cringe people do and bought wards. I think that's how you... They might be called... is it horde? Never really sure how to pronounce... Horde?
Yeah, we don't see a lot of those.
I feel like it's horde. Chat can correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, I came to the realization after nearly 3 years of overnight shifts, I should probably start taking more PTO. Yeah? Yeah? Well, you, also, have you considered not doing
Tower is under attack.
night shifts? It's actually really, like, statistically bad for your mental health. There is a Ymir in my lane again.
Oh my god.
Unstoppable.
Careful, they're all deep in our jungle.
What do you mean they're all?
They're all out here. and
Why?
headed for your lane.
Okay, also the changing stance doesn't feel nearly as responsive. It doesn't feel like I can pick the stance as easily.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if that's a
A bit
shared
clunky.
experience. They're going for gold.
Enemies at the gold
Yeah.
Fury.
Fenrir's ult is down. It's pretty big.
I'll see if I can actually ult him while he's in the air. Ooh, that one.
Your team has destroyed the gold Fury.
I'm getting out of that. Did we get gold then? Did I miss that?
I'm not sure.
Can we see?
No, I think Ra got it.
Oh, shame. I forget. Can we see graph screen? Player side? Yo, what's up, Meek? Look at this Golumba! I feel like there was a point where we could see graph screen in game.
Your left tower is under attack.
Might be
You're
crazy.
right.
It'll be 3 years this July, and I've taken a grand total of 5 shifts worth of PTO. Yeah, Gwyn, fucking... There's no reward for not taking time off, you know?
Left tower is under attack.
Like, look after yourself. I, like, not every month, but, like, genuinely, I don't know that there's been a month, really, that I've gone without taking at least 1 day off work. Whether that be for sickness or for mental health.
Until our glass is clean again.
Like, I'm a firm believer of the mental health day.
Has been slain.
Like, some days there are just, you know, it's just hard to get out of bed, and that's okay. You would shame me if you knew how much PTO I have saved. I just don't like to. Well, I mean, hell, man. If you don't like taking time off, then that's fine. No one's telling you. Like, I'm not telling you have to. I'm just, you know. I think you're crazy for not, right? But like, equally, if you like not taking time off, then that's absolutely valid, man. Man, this Anha cannot hit shit.
Your left tower is under attack.
He couldn't hit me if I was the broadside of his mum. Which I'm told is quite big.
An enemy has been slain.
Yay, let's go! It came back benign? That's fucking awesome, Mick. I'm so glad to hear, man. I think he might be on his purple.
Your left
Yeah.
tower is under attack.
He gone. I don't
Gone.
know anyway.
Oh, shit. Maybe I can steal his back camps. Oh. Oh, man. They gone. Oh, he here! Bro, I found him! He doesn't have his ult.
Yeah.
That's his charm?
Oh yeah, I'm coming.
Okay.
Wow. Oh, he hurts.
He
Holy
do.
moly.
He do hurt, but like he doesn't.
Wow.
Man, he's missed everything on me up until that point. I also played that poorly. I'm you know still getting used to the mechanic where if I flicker in my ice stance, I get my
Oh,
cooldowns back. So I could have just like slowed him down a whole bunch and then kept running, but I didn't do that because I'm stupid. They don't even want me to come in for any other testings. Everything is Gucci. Meek, that's so amazing to hear, man. I'm so fucking glad. Thank you for letting me know. Last time I took off, the guy who covered my shift was constantly being asked if I had gotten fired or if I was okay. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like an unhealthy work environment to me. I can't take a day off without somebody asking if I died. Like, that's crazy.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Like, it's sweet that he asked if you were okay, but like, it shouldn't be so abnormal for someone to take a day off, you know? Especially if it's like PTO. Like, I'm in a weird situation where in most careers you get like, as you said, holiday days that you accrue over the course of the year and then you can use them whenever you like. I can only use holiday days when it's a school holiday, right? So it's kind of, I don't really know how to relate to PTO because I wish I could just go, hey, this random fucking Friday and Monday in the middle of the year, I'm just gonna take those off. Cool. I wish I could do that. That sounds fucking sick. But alas, am not allowed. Oh, mate, come at me, bro.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Your team has destroyed a left enemy tower.
There's a tiger here. Or a
I've got a
lion.
bit of anti-heal. I've got some levels. I've got ult. I'm gonna try this. Oh, he found me. Oh my god.
Is he chasing you?
Yes. He beads. He was waiting for me.
Oh gosh.
That's his beads ult down.
Okay. Well, I can't chase him into the mid lane, I
No.
don't think. Damn.
No, this is a tough one. This one.
That's okay. I don't know about you, but I'm just vibing.
Yeah.
Gods of Frost! I am sad, though, that we'll never get the Avatar skins back.
Well, I suppose we. Yeah, I guess we never will. Yeah.
At least not how they were.
Hmm.
I mean, I doubt Nickelodeon will reach back out for another collab
Yeah.
with Smite 2, but...
too bad, Sonny. No.
Nah, I mean, what? We're 7k down, 20 minutes into the game. This is like, it's fucking nothing. I've seen worse teams win more secure games. Oh, hi, Goobus. What is it with all these fucking dogs in my lane? There was a lion, now there's a jackal.
Well, the lion has been shut down.
That's good.
It's not going so bad.
I'm still being ran at by the fucking jackal.
Enemy has been slain. Buried in a victim port. That was
He's just here, bro. Fuck, what are you doing? Fuck off. Ah, I hear the world's sexiest footsteps. Oh my goodness. What is this for me? I am doing VOD reviews, but there's a Merlin in the game now, so I'm just doing some Merlin review real quick. Checking out how Merlin is. Oh, how do I live that? Distracted by delicious, sexy food and still living? That's the true fucking gamer right there, chat. Hey. That's okay. Mustard.
Your team has destroyed
He's the
a
Colonel.
left enemy.
Colonel Mustard.
Your right tower is under attack.
No, not my tower. Fine with hellish shifts because I know my regulars appreciate me for that and what I do for them. Fair enough, man. Like, look, if you like your job and you don't like taking time off, that's like I pressed 2, bro. Why didn't it switch me to fire stance? Oh, oh, oh! I figured it out because in Smite 2 you don't have like, oh my gosh. Zats, you know how in Smite 1, if you like rebound your first ability, but you didn't set anything else to like the 1 key, you can have like both of them work?
An enemy has been slain.
Yeah.
You can't do that here, so I've been pressing like 1 and 2 for fire and void stance. And it has not been working, and now I understand why, because it's only recognizing my alternate things. Drop it if you need to. We've actually kind of fucked this.
Your team has destroyed the gold fuel.
Nice, good stuff.
Thanks. It'll be fine. An ally has
Oh,
been
y'all
slain.
just got mugged. And the same thing is about to happen to me, so I've got to press the fuck out of B. Okay. We got this. I want to go Totem of Undying. Sorry, Totem of Death, not Totem of Undying. Two very different things. There are even more. I have one regular who gave me a pound of venison he hunted. Another will bring me food occasionally, and have given me various resin projects and even the main mechanical pencil I use. That's cute. What? Just remind me again, Gwyn. What is it that you do?
An enemy has been slain. Thanks.
Cause like, I get that you work in hospitality, but like what kind of area?
Double kill.
See, good stuff's happening in mid. Hey, honey. Oh my gosh! Thank you for my greens. I go to all the mech with none of the greens. So Blazy, last input priority or neutral when you press 2 abilities together? Wait, what? So Blazy, last input priority or neutral when you press 2 abilities together?
Your middle tower is under attack.
That's a good question. It just put my it's a game. Oh, wait, what does that mean though? What does that do? But what does it do?
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower has been destroyed.
Telling me to check settings does not explain to me what it does. Yep. You're an overnight cashier at a petrol station. Damn. See, that does not feel like the kind of place you'd have regulars. But you're US, aren't you, Gwyn? Which I think makes a lot more sense, because I think there are a lot more, like, gas stations in the US are a little more, like, actual places that you go. Like, isn't there, like, a big mega gas station place that people, like, live? They, like, go out to dates there and shit?
Isn't In and Out like a... Or I don't know. There's some kind of...
In and Out is... Oh, shit. Okay. Ouch. Convenience stores. Yeah, that's called Bucky's. Bucky's! That's it. That's what I was thinking of. No!
State of affairs.
Oh, Zats.
Oh,
How does it feel that 14 people watched that happen?
I had ult as well. Didn't ult the last jump.
Gosh. Chat, it does make me sometimes genuinely sad that you can't ever try Kiwi's cooking.
The enemy team has destroyed the fire giant.
Because this shit's the bomb.
Bask in celestial restoration.
Oh, it's a tanky Ra. That's why I was doing no damage.
Your right tower is under attack.
Crazy that you can no longer swear in Smite. Wait, what? What do you mean? And also, what? And also, what do you mean? I'm 0-5. Hey, Dimple. But yeah, In-N-Out is a fast food burger. Joint. Type shit in game chat. Oh! Wow! Okay, so it's not even like a censor option anymore. You just straight up can't do it. You know what? I'm fine with it.
On my way.
Honestly, have you played Smite? Half the people in your games don't deserve the access to the chat feature.
Careful.
Let's all be honest. Smite will be a better game if people can say less shit in chat.
Shut down. My apologies.
Be real. Be real with yourselves. We're all happy about this development. We were all in bliss for the, like, 3-4 months where chat wasn't an enabled feature in Smite 2 at all. Hello. There is a fun roll.
An ally has been slain.
Hold on, see if we can bait them in.
Yeah, I think so.
They've forgotten about us.
They really have.
That's crazy.
Middle lane.
Oh no.
Cancel that.
He can defend middle lane by himself, right?
Yeah, we've got 2 over here.
Yeah,
fine.
it's fine. How am I supposed to vent now? Bro, to your therapist, man. Leave the poor people in your fucking ranked lobbies out of it. That's crazy. Ain't no way you just said, where am I gonna vent? That's his wrap down. Oh! Ow! I have been pained.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. I guess there is also voice chat.
Attack the gold fury.
Oh gosh, that might be the saddest spinach leaf I've ever seen in my life.
Be right back.
Okay. Your team has
Okay,
destroyed the
nice.
gold fury.
See, we now have 3 Furies, and we're 2K up.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
We're 19 kills down and we're 2k up.
Listen, bro, we are Bing chilling. We are so Gucci. They don't even know. The other team, they don't even know how Jover it is. They are so Skibbity Ohio right now. They don't even know.
Ooh, big beats.
I love hearing the charge up to the laser beam just to hear. Ow. I have been impregnated. It's like impregnation, but with pain. Hey, Millie! What a time to open the stream. How you doing, my love?
Your left Phoenix is under attack.
Judas is gonna open this VOD later to check out his review, and he's gonna be like, why the fuck is there a random game this might? Okay.
Wow.
Zats, you wanna stick around for the VOD review, or?
No, I've got to sort dinner really in about. No, I don't think I can. I will tune in a little later though.
Cool, no worries. Let's do the time warp again. Okay, boys and goyles. Boils and goyles. Let's do some fucking VOD review. Still amuses me that most of the Geneva Convention war crimes was committed by Canada of all countries. Yeah. Canada has hands, bro. Zad, thank you so much for the game, man.
Yes, thank you for the game.
Yeah.
I will tune in later. GG's.
GG's, man.
Oh boy.
Oh, is it just one match? Oh, here we go. Okay. Oh, Zats is in this. Okay, so we're gonna do a desk review, and then we're gonna go into VOD review. I'm still waiting to hear what specific game they want me to have a look at, but we're gonna just have a look at game one if nobody says anything to me. Alright, let's fucking go, folks. Let me pause my music. Okay. You just tell me if the levels are okay. Cans of food. They could have just shoved grenades into the cans. What? I feel like I'm missing essential context here. Essential.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening, Smite.
Straight away, we gotta find a different position for this pop filter. Whether that's... It's crazy to me, because I think... Oh, no, it's not. Looking at it, it looks like my mic. It looks like the, what are you called? The Shure SM7B, but it's just a different condenser mic. Okay. Less of a real thing that I can really critique then. If you can find, Blur, a pop filter that goes over the mic like this is... Oh, you guys are about to have some real ear fun right here. Hold on, I'll mute the mic for you. Like this is a pop filter. Oh my gosh, my mic looks so small. Skinny mic. But yeah, if you can find like a bigger pop filter that can go over the top of your pop filter, just because at the moment, like, I'm missing half of your face, right? So, or a sock works. Alright, I'm gonna mute my mic again while I put this back on.
Fans, welcome on into the Tanuki Smite League. We've got a lower division game coming here with week 2, and joining you for that will be myself, Supersonic Blur, and joining me to break things down is Zats. Zats, I hear there's been a lot of interesting stuff going on with Smite recently.
Yeah, in case anyone is possibly out of the loop, which
That's
maybe
me.
these players are, and, and nothing I say will be relevant. But
Okay.
obviously, have
So
players.
just slightly strange
Got a
phrasing.
lower division game coming here with week 2, and joining you for that.
Joining me is myself.
myself, Super
Careful
Sonic
with that,
Blur,
and
joining
then
me to break things.
I'm not sure if you talked about this beforehand, and that's how Zats knew how to take the drop. But this is such a
down
strange drop
is
to me.
Zats. I hear there's been a lot of interesting stuff going on with Smite recently.
Like that's such a vague drop. For Zats. I'm just trying to think though. What even would you say instead? Cool. I'm now doing review. Yeah, what's up, Midas? By the way, just forgot to say hi. Yeah, so I don't know. I think you could do maybe like a Zats. We've been seeing some really interesting strategies, or maybe we've been seeing some really interesting picks. Maybe just like narrow it down a little bit for Zats, because you're prepping to go into it. It doesn't help that I'm assuming you don't really know the teams at this point. But this is the kind of time that you could spend hyping up like the teams are, who some of these players, etc. So maybe throwing to Zats like, oh, we've got who's even playing in here. Let's have a quick look.
Expected to go into that mid lane.
Oh gosh, there's a lot of desking.
God.
Okay, so literally no one. Okay, all right. Well, that's a difficult one then. Yeah, I think just anything that maybe
Sure, sir.
gives that a little bit of a narrower scope of what to talk about here.
I hear
would be
there's been
good.
a lot of interesting stuff going on with Smite recently.
It's just so vague.
Yeah, in case anyone is possibly out of the loop, which
That's
maybe
me.
these players.
The fact that you're giggling about it though does make me feel like you probably spoke to Zats about it first. In which case, ignore me.
Players are, and, and nothing I say will be relevant. But obviously had some changes around the Blink relic, which was briefly removed from the game, and now it's back. But you can't do it in combat, but you can still do it mid animation, and it's got the same cooldown. So basically, it's rubbish, but it is still in the game.
Okay. Yeah, so the fact that Zats went straight into Blink there, I think. No way, bro just said those are no names. Yeah. I mean, listen, man. I know Smite players. Those guys ain't Smite players. No, they're not Smite players that I know. Remember I unplugged for like the last 2 years of Smite. Yeah, it sounds like Zats kind of knew where to take it, but just, yeah.
Maybe it is.
Yeah, so it's possible we might see it, but I think what's more interesting than that is the possible Blink alternatives that have been added in the game with the last patch or so.
He's going to talk about the speed.
Yeah,
Shit.
a lot of movement speed. We were reminiscing a little bit about.
Okay. So, here's my problem. It feels like I am watching a conversation that started 3, 4, 5 minutes before I came into the room. Like, when you pass the Zats, and it's like, yeah, if you've spoken about it before, it's a fine pass, because Zats knows, based on what you guys were talking about before, what to talk about. But we, the audience, don't know what that is. And then when Zats, you kind of hard drop it back to Blur here.
Yeah,
Keep the
so
mic.
it's possible we might see it, but I think what's more interesting than that is the possible Blink alternatives that have been added in the game with the last patch or so.
Yeah, like that finishes off. I don't. What are the new things? You're the analyst. Tell me the new things that are built into the new alternative blinks. Like we've been seeing a big focus on movement speed items. Arendite Stampede has become a big go-to for players who want to get into and out of fights quickly. You tell me about those things. You tell me. And if you're gonna prep things to talk about before stream, that's awesome. That's excellent. You gotta make it feel like you're coming up with this shit organically.
Yeah, a lot of movement speed. We were reminiscing a little bit about old Smite 1 days where it was you don't buy boots, it was winged blade and relic dagger, but no such items I believe exist in this one. But
Yeah,
we got
I
that.
have no
You've
idea
got,
what's
I
being talked
believe
about.
Princess Barry is still banned. I'm hovering on that one.
Okay, now we're on to gods. I have no idea what you're talking about. As a viewer who's never seen Smite before, I have no idea what it is that you are saying, what it is that, you know, what are these blink alternatives that we have been discovering. Now we're reminiscing about Smite 1. Like, fine, throw in the flavor there about Smite 1, about Wingblade, that's fun, that's cute. I don't know what you're talking about. Tell me what the blink alternatives are.
Because I think we were able to confirm that it is banned this week. Yes.
Yeah, I believe so. So we won't see, I don't think, any Princess Barry. Or even if she was pickable, I don't want to see anyone getting their hands on that god because Barry be broken, and we do not want to see that.
Okay.
But that's fine. We shouldn't have to.
And that's again, like if I'm a Smite player who's watching, and again, like I said in the last review, listen, we all know that there is no viewership, no new viewership coming to Smite. Everyone who's watching these streams, they already know. But you gotta pitch the one person who's coming in from out of nowhere, going, "What the fuck is Smite? Oh, a tournament. Let's watch that." You gotta pitch it to them. So when you say Barry's broken, just pick out one thing. Just be like, "Oh yeah, Princess Barry. You know, I hope that nobody picks her up. She's so busted. Her damage output is so crazy high that she makes other ADCs really struggle in that lane. So I hope we don't see her, right? Like, give me some sort of reason why, rather than just she's broken."
But there's lots to play for, I think. It's obviously only week number 2. These might still be fairly new teams. You know, this is a draft.
I would love to see, the more we get into these leagues, this is more of a production note, I would love to see some, like, leaderboards, so that we, the casters, can have something to talk about in terms of the narrative and, like, what these games actually mean. Because that's when we start changing the broadcast from we're just some people coming in to cast a game to we are casters for a league. So I think once we can start getting some of those like leaderboard things, I think that'll be a big positive step for us. Definitely in the pipeline. Oh, hi Judas. Great. Good.
League. Maybe these players haven't quite got that synergy up yet, so lots to play for. And I think on paper as well, looking at the drafts themselves, could be.
How's the mixing, by the way?
quite
Can you
an
guys
even
hear the
competitive
casters
set.
okay?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking as well. This is obviously the lower division. We got Team Skull and Team Visionaries. You were looking down some of the rosters and things. These are names that you were able to recognize. Just,
Well, now I feel bad. Zats knows who they are. They're probably people.
assuming that they're with the skill level on things. Yes, it's lower division, but that doesn't ever mean that we're going to get a bad series of games.
I hate this. Okay. So sorry, I'll go back so we can
On
hear.
things, yes, it's lower division, but that doesn't ever mean that we're going to get a bad series of games and things, especially.
Yeah, I hate this. I don't. Yes, it's called lower division. Yes, it's, you know, it's all implied. Never even imply it. I know, like, Blur is doing like the good thing here by saying, you know, yes, it says lower division on the tin, but it's still good quality. Just don't even pick it up. You can say it's lower division, or Div 2. I think it's probably the better way of saying it, right, rather than lower division. But as soon as you say lower division, they're kind of. They're, you know, but they're not going to be, it doesn't mean that they're going to be bad, guys. Me, the viewer's going to go, okay, so these are going to be shit to games, right? Why can't casters call them shit? No, listen. I have no problem calling a player shit when they play shit, but it's one thing looking at a player like, I really want to pull up the clip from my cast the other day where this Medusa misses her ult like point blank, and I'm like, how do you miss a cone that big? Right? Like, I have no problem calling players out during the game, But like when you're before the game has even started, don't even allude to the fact that these might be shitter games. Otherwise, people will just tune out, right? People don't want to watch that shit. It's not fun to watch a 30-minute slogfest, really.
For me, two teams that are equally matched is always
Welcome to Smite 2 shitter division. See, I would run that league. That sounds like fun. Yeah, can't prejudge trash players. Let them prove it for
It's
sure.
always the best kind of Smite to watch.
Yeah, absolutely, and absolutely regardless of
I missed that.
Games and things, especially lower division, but that doesn't ever mean that we're going to get a bad series of games and things. Especially for me, two teams that are equally matched is always the best kind of Smite to watch.
Yeah, it's like Blur basically says, I know we're not gonna go watch the heavyweight championship, but two toddlers in a ring with boxing gloves is still good because they're evenly matched. Right? Like, way better to just talk about something else. Hype up the players. You know, Zats says that he knew who he was. Let Zats talk about some of the players. Let Zats talk about the teams. Let Zats talk more about, you know, picks and shit. I hate this tangent. It's a
Yeah,
really
absolutely,
bad
and
line.
absolutely, regardless of level as well. And you know,
I'm sorry. If it just feels like it's digging in. Don't judge them on their levels, guys. We haven't started the game. No one was thinking this could be a shit game, right? Until you started saying just because it's Div 2 doesn't mean it's going to be
I
bad.
think some of the most fun sets that I've ever casted, that I've ever been involved in, are so-called lower division. It really doesn't matter because it can be just as exciting, if not more so, because sometimes the games can be a bit quicker, they're a bit more chaotic, but
Don't worry, guys. We at least the game is going to be quick and eventful.
in another sense, they can actually sometimes be just that tiny bit slower than a ranked game, for example. And actually, that means you can really see when an amazing individual play comes out. It really sticks out, and you know then
Yeah, because
you've got
the
a
teams are
highlight
shit.
reel for whichever player, and I think that's very, very exciting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. On a fully serious note, I just don't think it's a worthwhile topic of conversation because nobody's thinking that these could be bad games until you bring up the whole just because they're lower division doesn't mean it's going to be bad. This time could be way better spent on, like I said, highlighting players, highlighting teams, highlighting characters, going over. I think this is a perfect opportunity actually because I think this dropped just after the patch. Maybe not. I have to get a fact check on that. But you know, this could be a perfect opportunity for Zats to just before patch. Okay. Never mind that. I was gonna say this could be a good opportunity for Zats to talk about some of the changes and how they might affect things. But if it's just before patch, I don't know. You could probably talk about how you know, this is the last time we're gonna see some of these. Oh, sorry, eating too fast. This could be the last time we're going to see some of these strats before the next patch. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm excited to see this, and this. We've seen some Hercules jungle. We've seen some Achilles jungle. We've seen some really flexible picks, etc. Blah, 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 blah. But I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Plus,
think it's
also
a good
from
line.
the other side of things, a lot of like the high-end games, you kind of have this distilled, boiled down.
And we're still
here's the
talking.
meta, here's
And the other thing is, we're still now talking about theoretical games that haven't happened. And it's like, why are we talking about games that aren't this game?
what you play, here's what you build, here's what you do this. These lower areas, sure, you can still follow that, but if you're like, yeah, but look how absolutely insane my pocket Neath solo is.
Yeah, a little lost
You
in
can
the
kind
sauce.
of just say, yo, I'm gonna pocket Neath solo, let's do it. Or, yo, you want to play Mordred support, let's go. Mordred ADC, I don't know, you can do that in these, I don't want to say lower division games, I want to, you know, these are areas where player individuality isn't hampered by, yeah, we're just gonna get punished because these players are really good.
You're just saying the teams are shit, but the players make good plays. Guys, the teams are gonna play like ass, but someone's gonna pop off tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose there's less of a pressure
And we're
or an
still
expectation
talking
to be
about
able to
it.
play those kind of strong meta picks, and I think that's really, really important because obviously we've
Oh,
had a couple
goodness.
of tournaments happen recently this weekend. The meta has become quite clearly defined. We've already
Okay.
talked about movement speed items like Stampede.
No, we haven't. You've talked about it. We didn't get to see that part of the conversation.
Kind of speed hacking
Brett.
at times feels a bit ridiculous. There are certain gods that are particularly strong in certain roles. You know, we've seen bans against Sobek and Kabrakan.
Why?
Lots of focus around solo lane. A couple of
Why?
ADCs have slipped through, but
Why?
uh,
This is all stuff that you could have been talking about in depth had you not gone on a big tangent about how bad the games are going to be, right? You could have told us, you could have been telling us why characters like Sobek and Kabrakan have been so heavily contested. You could tell us about why the solo lane has been such an important role, because it fluctuates in and out of importance. Solo lane will go from being the most important role to being literally who cares if the 5th player disconnects. Tell me why. Why is it important? Why has it been important?
you know, hopefully today we'll see maybe even a bit of a break from that. We'll see some interesting picks come out. That's what I'm hoping for, anyway.
Yeah, you mentioned on the ADC side of things, one of the last sets that I had the pleasure of watching and seeing was some interesting developments with the ADC, kind of sort of this dirty bubble-esque kind of build, going for the Void Shield and stuff like that.
Okay.
Personally, this is one of the things I'm hoping we don't see as we make our way on into picks and bans, but is that still something that you mentioned, like with Blink not being around?
I think inserting your personal opinions can be a bit hit or miss. Sorry, I'm done with my food now. Sorry for eating. That was just too tasty. I'm doing okay, Britt. How are you? I think inserting your own opinions into a cast can work sometimes. I think stuff like, oh, I don't really want to see this kind of build. I'm not really sure what it adds. If anything, it kind of maybe primes me, the viewer, to feel a certain way. I'm not really sure what kind of way that is. I'm just not sure that I like it. I might be also completely picking at straws here, but yeah, I don't know. I like the fact that we're talking about touching on a certain style of build. I think I maybe would have liked to have just heard Blur say, blah, 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 Dirty Bubble, it's been a very popular thing that's been terrorizing my games, right? I think that adds maybe a bit more flavor to it than rather than just saying, I hope we don't see this build. And also, you know, explaining maybe a little bit what Dirty Bubble is for the audience might be beneficial. Again, just, you know, pitch it for that one person who's never seen Smite before. We've been seeing a lot of these Dirty Bubble builds, you know, these kind of more tanky hybrid style builds in the ADC lane with Void Shield. That's been terrorizing my games personally. Zats, is that still something that we should be? Is that something that we should still be keeping an eye on as we head into picks and bans?
It feels like fights now are more.
Also,
like with Blink not being around, it feels like fights now are more. I'm hoping we don't see as we make our way on into picks and bans. But is that still something that you mentioned, like with Blink not being around? It feels like.
Why are we still talking?
Fights now are more.
You had a question to Zats, and you just carry on.
As we make our way on into picks and bans. But is that still something that you mentioned, like with Blink?
Is that still something that
not being around? It feels like fights now are more. Once you're in a fight, you're in a fight. Is that something we're expecting to see? Some more like tankier builds on these squishy characters?
Yeah, you had a much better drop in the pocket there. Zats, is that still something that we're gonna be? Come on. I literally said it a second ago. Zats, is that still something we should be keeping an eye on out of the duo lane? Right, a much cleaner drop. You kind of run on there. Remember, chat, Dirty Bubble is named after the player, not the build. Oh, I actually didn't know that. Tired, stressed, and emotionally wrecked. Oh, that sounds like a good name for a band. Oh, we're not talking about the SpongeBob enemy, the Dirty Bubble. No. Dirty Bubble, like, as in Dirty Bubble Thanatos.
It's possible. I think we're actually seeing there was a big shift in the last patch where everyone. ADCs feel slightly less impactful in terms of being able to shred through these tanks, and so maybe there's now a shift of maybe I can get the old defense item there. There are more good options for that now, such as Magi's Cloak and stuff like that. Mantle of Discord are very good for picking up as your kind of one defense item. There's lots of good options for that. We're seeing Warrior's Axe on ADCs. That's been a real big shift and is particularly favoured in EU at the moment. So
tell me why.
I'll be interested to see if the
that's a really important one. See, I like the pickup and I like things so far here from Zats. It's not even bad continuing. I think I would have liked to have heard. We've actually been seeing Axe be picked up by these ADCs. Tell me why. Like, what specifically about Axe has made hunters move over to it? What's the appeal? Why because that's such a big meta shift, right? Technically a starter item that isn't even for ADC role, right? It's not Cal, it's not or whatever it is, Hood, Hunters, I think it is Hunter's Cal. It's not Cal, it's not Arrow, it's not Death's Toll. So why have they gone for that? That's in my opinion, that's the most interesting thing that we could be talking about here. The Picks and Pans screen assaults my eyes, by the way. It is colorful for sure. I'm not a designer though, so I can't. I mean, I wouldn't be able to make something better than this, so I can't really say much. I think it's just what we have for the moment.
There's lots to be excited about today.
And as we get on in picks and bans wise, Skull is going to be over on the order
using
side. Visionaries over on the right. The Hunbat's ban, it feels like nothing's changed since my last look at Smite 2.
Okay. I'm gonna position this to chat more than anything. Chat. When you are a member of talent, when you're on the desk or something, even when you're casting something, you need to be a kind of reputable source of information, right, to your audience. Now, Chair 1s get around this a little bit, the play-by-play, because we act more stupid than we are, right? We're there basically, for the most part, to set up the Chair 2 to educate our audience, right? The Chair 2's job, the analyst's job, is just to go, here's why this is happening, here's what this person's doing, here's the reason behind it, blah, 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 I'm smart. Chair 1 gets away with not necessarily looking as smart, because we are there to go, actually, that ADC has Warrior's Axe. What is, what is the benefit to this? This isn't one of the traditional ADC items, right? But by admitting that we've taken long chunks out of the game, or that we don't really know kind of what's new, like straight up, like there's a way to do it. Blur, I would like to have seen, like, I get that this adds like character. It speaks to kind of you as a being. But I just fear you lose credibility with the audience by going, it's been a long time since I've looked at a Smite 2 broadcast or looked at a Smite 2 game. Things haven't changed, right? I think, even, something similar in the same vein, like, the more things change, more things stay the same, or call it deja vu, it's a Hunbat's ban, something like that maybe doesn't give away that you haven't watched, because, like, I don't fucking watch Smite. I don't play Smite. I play Smite a little bit on a Tuesday, maybe. And then I cast with you guys. But you need to maintain that level of credibility with the audience, or else chat will turn on you and everything that you say, right? You need chat on side. Not because, we care about what chat thinks, but just because if chat don't think that you're a credible source of information, they're going to tune out when you're speaking. And we want to keep them engaged in the broadcast as much as possible. I don't know, I think your stupidity is kind of on point. Yeah, I try and keep my character about the same level of intelligence as I am.
Bands wise, Skull.
You don't play Smite? I haven't played in over a month, right? But like, so yeah, us, the caster team, even can all acknowledge that we don't really play a lot of Smite. And even when I was SCC stuff, I didn't really play all that much Smite towards the end of it. Like I think when I flew out for Worlds, I hadn't touched Smite in maybe 2 months, and I just like crammed a bunch of games the night before I flew. Yeah. So we can all acknowledge it, but you never, ever clue the audience in on that. You never clue the audience in on that.
Is going to be over on the Order side. Visionaries over on the right. The Hunbats ban, it feels like...
Yeah, I will say that again as a production note. I'm going to move over here. As a production note, we need to get these... on this overlay, we need to get these changeable so that we can see it, because it is so difficult when you're in the chair to remember what the names of the teams are when you just have Order and Chaos in front of you.
Nothing's changed since my last look at Smite 2. I assume that the stun bats is still something that's potentially very, very dangerous. Teams just don't...
Yeah, and again, so we lose credibility by saying stuff like, I assume this. I don't know if Sunbats is still a thing. And the better thing to do, Blur, here is literally just to go... Because we're in picks and bans, right? I want to hear you speak literally just to say the names of the gods that have been picked and banned, and then ask Zats to say something smart. So you could literally, in this moment, go, Bats has just been taken away there. Now, Zats, we know that Stun Bats has been a popular, kind of quirky alternate pick. Is that still something that's going to be... is that still something that's a contending issue? I mean, even then, he's banned, so it's not really something that we need to talk about, but, you know. By continuing on that thread, you give yourself away that you don't really... You're not up to date with the game, which, again, is fine. I don't blame you for it, but, like, just give it to Zats.
Don't want to deal with it. Visionaries on the other side, they go ahead and ban away Thor. I kind of like that. I feel like with the Blink nerf, you need a god who can get in and get out. Thor has that kind of built into his kit.
And again, right, like, we didn't need much of that. Like, we also, during picks and bans, there is always that big temptation as a chair one host that you're, as a desk one, sorry, to, like, say every single pick and ban that's coming out. It's not super important, in my opinion. I don't think that you need to, like, have a full list. I think it's more important for the audience, right? Who, for the most part, are going to be able to see anyway. But, like, the audience are going to find out what the draft is regardless, even at the end, right? You know, you'll normally have, like, a little mini rundown. But, like, in these moments, I think it's more important to just let Zats speak. You know, start talking about, okay, Humbats has been banned out, Thor has been banned out. Big targets towards the jungle so far, Zats. What are going to be the main priorities for these two teams' first pick, right? What is Order's first pick here? What are we prioritizing? That's what I'm more interested in than what's taken away. It's game one. These bans aren't, like, personal. They're not target banned. We haven't seen... you know, whoever on Chaos side go crazy on bots, and that's why it's being banned. So just focus more on, like, what is actually going to get picked, and just let Zats go off. Zats is so fucking smart, man. Like...
Yeah, absolutely.
He's just so fucking smart. Just let him pop off on this
They
shit.
go ahead and ban away Thor. I kind of like that. I feel like with the Blink
And
nerf...
I'm just gonna... Sorry, I'm speaking a lot about this one specific bit. But, like, this drop as well is so harsh.
Need a god who can get in and get out. Thor has that kind of built into his kit.
Yeah.
Right, Thor has that built into his kit. Yeah. Like, Zats picks this up so much better than I would ever be able to. Like, the guy's so fucking smart, man. But, like, that's such a harsh drop for Zats. Just, like, tee him up. Like, Thor can get in and out, you know, could we potentially be seeing a Thanatos here, you know? Could Thanatos be a priority? Do you think Order is gonna look to first pick a jungler, right? Tee up Zats with a question so that he has something to focus on. Because now Zats has to, on the spot, go, yes, Thor does have in and out potential. Fuck, what else do I talk about? And he recovers it great. We'll have a look at that. Personally, I'd say something like it's something we've seen in the past, sticking to our guns. Yeah, like, you know, we've seen stun bats in the past. Is this still, you know, still something we should worry about? Or, you know, we've seen stun bats come into it. Order clearly don't want to take that risk with having to deal with the stun monkey, right? Like something like that. Keep it short, keep it sweet.
Absolutely, and I think Thor is generally considered a pretty strong pick at the moment. His jungle feels...
Yeah, so Zats has to kind of, like, awkwardly pick in here and then start talking more about the Thor, rather than, like, it's off the board. Thor's off the board.
And he also now has that flexibility to go into that solo lane, and his solo lane has arguably never been stronger with the passive.
Yeah, like we're still talking about Thor. I get it. It's the most recent thing that's on screen, but also it's banned. We're not gonna be looking at Thor. Yes, some of this might be good education for why people should be banning Thor, but tell me more about why what's coming up, why I should care about the first pick.
The new aspect, giving you a bit more sustained damage. You can go a bit more auto attack focused. So I like getting rid of that. I think it's just a strong pick. On the other side, Humbats, yeah, it's a strong jungler with or without aspect. I think.
I do kind of get this. Like they're talking a lot about the bans, which I know I've just ragged on, but there is nothing else happening. I still think I would prefer to see them go on to like mini predictions, talking about what kind of characters they think are going to be prioritized here in the draft, but highlighting the bans isn't the worst thing that they could be doing in the world.
Bit too potent.
More predicting, less reacting. When you put it like that, it doesn't sound right? But like in picks and bans, as your desk, you want to be kind of informing the conversation, and then it also gives Zats major bonus points when he's able to go, yeah, order that, they're probably going to be looking into something for the jungle here, given how prevalent the movement speed meta has been recently, something like Thanatos, but also warriors like Achilles and Hercules have been really making a strong case for why they should be in the jungle. None of those bans so far here at the start of this game, so this could be quite a heavily contested thing for them. And then, like, as soon as any of those get locked in, massive bonus points for Zats, right?
That is one of the stronger support picks.
Yeah,
still
so this should generally be the phase in the cast where you're just sitting there flexing your how much I know about the game, how much I know about the meta, what I think is going to happen now. Oh, they picked something that I didn't predict? Well, haha, joke's on you. I still know why they're doing that. It's because for these reasons, right? So like, you're still reacting to what's happening, but you don't really want to spend too much time, especially on bans.
The fact that I think she's
But again, the players are taking forever, so I understand the need to find something to talk about.
Being overtaken by some of the other supports. I think Sobek is a classic counter to this Aphrodite, and that's something that I would expect.
Yeah, see, there's the Thanatos, right?
But there are
so like right, you guys can't fucking see. I can't put myself anywhere. I'm gonna put myself here for right now. Yeah, they can talk about the players are taking a while. Not even necessarily a joke, but, it's something along the lines of, the players are really putting some thought into this draft. But, like, I get to have a little smarty pants moment here where I was like, yeah, the Thanatos is probably going to get prioritized here. And now it's the second ban for the Chaos side, right? Zats could be doing that shit.
Quite a few other spots I think that are still potentially
Zats does do that shit.
Table.
Oh, look at this. Thanatos also taken off the table. Visionaries really do not want to look into some of these jungle high damage gods. Taking those off the table. And with the, you mentioned obviously Aphrodite falling a little bit lower. Some of those other supports. The question is if Aphrodite's off the table, are those supports still as valued in that situation? These are very good at...
So again, you're holding it way too long. That was a really good pickup, a really good line, not too long. And then you're about to throw it back to Zats, and like
falling a little bit lower. Some of those other supports. The question is if Aphrodite's off the table, are those supports still as valued in?
Right. If Aphrodite is off the table, are those supports still as valued? That's it. That's all you need to say, and that's a perfect setup for
situation.
Zats.
These are very good at countering Aphro.
You need a clapper and cut.
Good solid situations. I'll have to see Skullhead taking their time. On the first pick, I mean, I'm looking at what there is. Aladdin comes to mind. Hercules comes to mind.
Wait, so we just don't ask the question? We just leave it? We just move on? You ask Zats a question, you never let him answer? That's fucked up, bro.
As valued in that situation. These are very good at countering Aphro. Do they still just offer...
I can see Zats' face. But he's the
supports. The question is if Aphrodite's off the table, are those supports...
I can see Zats looking around, getting ready to
still
answer.
As valued in that situation. These are very
good.
His
mouth fucking opens! He's ready for it! Let him answer the question, man!
Countering Aphro, do they still just offer good solid situations? I'll have to see Skullhead taking their time. On the first pick, I mean, I'm looking at what there is. Aladdin.
And now, Blur, you're talking about what the first pick could be, right? This should all be Zats. Like, I said the same thing to Judas in his VOD review last week, but the picks and bans, you shut up. Like, shut, be quiet. This time is literally, as I said, you're there to pick up when Zats needs to take a breath, change the vocal texture a little bit, find something else to point Zats at, and then let him go off again. Right? This is the Chair 2's big team fight, right? This is what they live for. This is their bread and butter. If our bread and butter is the Fire Giant fight at 34 minutes, like big 5v5, this is what the Chair 2 live for. So you shush. You shush. You let him speak. You ask him questions. In this moment, right? I'm looking at what they could be lining up for first pick here. Zats, where's the priority gonna lie for the order side? Right? Like, that's the question. Instead, you just...
comes to mind, Hercules comes to mind, both incredible, but Sobek is top pick. Oh,
and again, right? Zats already talked about how Sobek has been banned away, and how, like, people have been banning away Sobek, people have been banning away Kabrakan. This is a fucking really cool moment. Something that Zats was saying 10 minutes ago, right, is now relevant. That's how fucking smart Zats is, man. The guy blows me away.
it's good days when Sobek is top picked.
Yeah, this is very much what I expected to see. Just, I think, the best support at the moment, and you know, you don't even need to worry about countering that Aphrodite, as we mentioned. It's just really, really strong. Great pressure, tons of damage. Like Sobek does a lot of damage. Has an execute now in Smite 2, and that's always going to be impactful, particularly in late game. Sobek kind of just does everything. And the other thing is, when Sobek plucks, you don't necessarily die because you do feel quite tanky in the current meta. So it's just a great first pick. No brainer, really, for me.
Right, and so Zats now has a really good moment. What I'm hoping to hear from Blur, right? Blur at this point just goes, Chaos are going to respond with a lock-in from Kabrakan, hovering Hercules. I don't know if they're going to like immediately lock it in. That is, like, and again, this is a great moment for Zats, right? Because he was saying earlier how Sobek and Kabrakan specifically were banned away. Now Zats can, like, this should literally be, Blur just goes, Zats, you're a genius. Sobek and Kabrakan first picked here. You're talking about how strong they were before. Why are these such high priority gods, right? That's it. Or whatever other question Blur wants to ask, but it should just be Kabrakan picked, Hercules picked, Zats, question.
Oh, well, you talk about tanky no-brainers and things. You got the Kabrakan and the Hercules. You've seen time and time again how...
I don't think this pop filter works. I know this is like a technical point, but like I don't know if you guys can hear it. Maybe it's just in my earphones, but like
Bracken and the
A there just sounds really up, which is an A caught in a pop filter even? Don't think so. Those ones don't. Yeah, I remember mine not really working either. More thing for this, right? More points for the over the mic ones. But yeah, just the level sometimes on Blur's end just goes from like one syllable sound, one consonant sound will be a lot louder than others. Maybe, yeah, Blur, if you have like a really fluffy sock, just like curl it up around your mic or something.
a Hercules. You've seen time and time again how oppressed.
It could be a problem with the condenser mic actually, in the software, because mine used to do that as well before I got my preamp. I'm not sure what mic Blur has.
A Hercules can be. Now you've got a Kabrakan following it as well. Yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that prediction of, yo, we're going to need some tankier squishy gods. Screw having squishy gods. Just pick everything that's a tank. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I feel like I'm ragging on Blur a lot, which isn't what I'm trying to do. Blur's bringing a lot of energy into this desk, which on the one hand I really enjoy, but on the other hand I'm like, it's just a desk, right? Like, I don't know, I'm just like old and cynical, but like, it feels like a lot of energy for like second pick, and it's like a very off the rack pick, right? I I just feel like it goes really high, and then
the
again,
Hercules.
the way that we drop it, like every drop to Zats so far in this desk has been like a I'm finished with my sentence drop rather than a here is a so Blur is they them Midas, not he, just for future reference. I feel like he's been 90%. Well, I mean, it's one of those things where it's hard to give Zats feedback on the desk segment when it's been so Blur dominant. And that in of itself is kind of the main flaw, right? Is that in this desk segment, Blur needs to let Zats talk more. And then there'll be more to talk about Zats. I mean, there might be more in the back end of this. We'll see. But yeah, I'm not sure how you feel about bringing the energy up so much. And then I would just like to see you directing Zats more, right? Think of yourself kind of as the ringleader, and Zats is your dancing bear. Every cool thing that you feel should be explained or talked about, or even if you just want to make Zats make a crazy prediction, point at him and go, tell me more about this. What do you think about that? What do you think the teams are going to do now? Right? You're just there to squeeze information out of Zats like he's a wet cloth. So just squeeze it out of them.
He's seen time and time again how oppressive a Hercules can be. Now you've got a Cabrakan following it as well. Yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that prediction of, yo, we're going to need some tankier squishy gods. Screw having squishy gods.
Like, here you could just say, and Zats, you called it perfectly. These are, Zats, you called it perfectly. These teams just want tanks all the time. Is there an answer to that? Or like, how do you play into that, right? Like something along those lines. Just like give Zats a way to point.
Just pick everything that's a tank. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And
again, you could have dropped that at just pick everything that's a tank.
And I love this top two because I think there's still some flex potential. I don't think it's too important to worry about that. Hercules, I would expect to go in the jungle. I'm not a huge fan of Hercules solo. I think there are better picks. Cabrakan, I think, is actually...
Man, this is crazy. Zats predicted the first two. I predicted the second two, right? I'm feeling pretty, like, I feel good about this, right? By just here analyzing them, I got the picks right. That's what the desk should be all about, man. Let Zats pop off.
His best role is in solo, but also really potent in support. I'd be very happy to see that there, and even potentially could go to jungle as well. So lots of flex potential coming out of both these drafts.
So far, so good. The Achilles, fantastic way. You talked about Sobek having an execute. How about we bring a guy who's got up to 5 executes as well? And then you throw in Artemis as well, who... My definition of Artemis is they are up there with like the ROM as we're a tank shredder. If you're running at me, I'm just firing autos.
Yeah, like, and again, this could have been a perfect setup for Zats. My definition of Artemis is a tank shredder. Zats, how important is that going to be in this game? Or, like, whatever. But, like, you're going off on these little analysis rants, putting in your like, I know you got great Chad 2 chops, right? Blood, and, like... I know this is probably where a lot of this is coming from. Those like Chair 2 instincts of, okay, I'm gonna talk about these and talk about why they're good. Just talk about the picks. Let Zats analyze why they're there, why they're good. Ask him the questions.
Into you, and with that increased duration on the stim, just every time you fire an auto attack, it goes on for longer and longer. Great, run at me all you like. You'll be dead by the time you get to me. And last pick for the top 3. Looking over Visionaries, hovering the Morrigan.
And that's going to talk about how this is going to go to the support role.
Normally, well, they can always pinch one over from Skull.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a very valid point, actually. Should they lock it in, having the ability to turn into Sobek, I think, is particularly valuable. But there's lots of good options so far, and I do like this Morrigan. One thing I will say, this could be a Morrigan support.
Dance, my little puppets, dance!
I think, again, I'd like to
He's a
I'd
Nami.
like Hercules jungle.
Okay, alright, okay. So, okay, I'm gonna interrupt here. I'm gonna say it. I'm not a massive fan of the little chime-ins very often on the desk. In a cast, I think like little like, oh, it's like, what? Oh, whoa! Like that kind of stuff, that can be interesting and it can build hype. I'm not a massive fan of like the hello and like kind of that kind of stuff. Not just from Blur, from everyone. I don't love it when it's off the rack picks. This Izanami is the perfect time to be the like, hold on a second, that's an interesting pick, right? Like for Blur to chime in with like a Izanami, like when something's unexpected, do the chime in, right? Absolutely, this Izanami is something to talk about because that's not, as far as I'm aware, anyway, that's not a common pick. That's a either a pocket or like an off method pick. I feel like Blur knows too much Smite wants to show they know ball rather than passing. Yeah, but like that's it's an unfortunate habit a lot of chair ones do. I have that problem all the time when I do desk. I'm saying all this stuff about Blur the same way I did about Judas. I make the same mistake all the time when I'm on desk. In fact, doing VOD review for Judas made me better when Zats and I did picks and bans the other day. And like that picks and bans, actually, I wonder if I can show you, because I think it would be good to just compare what I am wanting to show you. Where is... Skull Visionaries. What? Where have all the links gone? Where have all the... Oh, here we go. VOD links channel. Oh, no, that's not... Okay. Where have all the VOD links gone? Here we go. Bakasaurus. Arjun. Everybody learns in review time. It's due to win.
Well, this to go.
Like, listen to this. Just recently seen a new patch drop. I'm gonna ask you as we jump into the draft here, what kind of characters are we expecting to see in the draft? Right.
Well,
question.
Of course,
Zach
the big
takes
thing is
Zach speaks.
is out of the game.
Zach speaks for
and
ages,
for
which is
example,
exactly what I
because
want.
You don't have very long
Placement for it.
adapt that change. It was a real surprise coming into this set.
And then as soon as that takes a breath, yeah, no replacement for it either. No, not a traditional Smite 1 blink, not an alternative form, just completely off the board. As we see already, the bans are very different from even what we saw last week. Here's that Achilles taken off the board, Morrigan taken off the board. Of course, first week that Princess Barry is technically allowed in competitive play, so she's immediately taken off the board. I'm talking too long here, right? But I'm just recapping all the bans because Zats has not been talking about the bans. We've just been talking about Combat Blink and how impactful that has been.
Character has been
So I'm just recapping the bans here. I think it's a bit long. No eyes on the first pick here. Zats, where do you expect our priorities to lie in the first draft? Right, literally, I'm done talking about just the bans, not why they've happened, nothing like that. I'm just going straight into here are the bands, that's Zats. And that's basically the entire thing, right? Zats talks, in here for the I get the mic. I'm just gonna point out that this Kabrakan ban here, was Kabrakan particularly touched in this last patch? Right, and I'm here like, okay, the Thor isn't necessarily a big pick. Sobek isn't necessarily a big pick that we weren't expecting. The Kabrakan is something that was new at the time. So this is then that like, oh, that's interesting. Tell me about that. And then Mordred's picked immediately after, and I'm there like,
I
fuck.
think relatively high.
Right, and then that speaks, blah, 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 blah.
So some response as well for the order side.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll... And like, even Zats here, he covers the picks, where I'm like, you don't need to do that. Zats, don't talk about the picks, right? Just let me take those. More on that aspect as we get into the game. Soul and Cupid locked in here. I'm imagining... Wait, does he?
Top two so far, stronger. So Mordred, a great pick to go along with the Thor. It's a strong top two so far, but we pick some response as well for the order side.
Okay, belay that. I skipped too far. But you see how it's literally, I ask, like, I pick up the mic, I say maybe 10 words, drop the question to Zats, Zats picks it up, talks more. That's how the entire desk should be structured.
Well, maybe that Morrigan
the entire picks and ban should be structured.
Be a good option for them. And again, it's
had a cast on Saturday that was improved massively by your feedback last week. Good, that's great to hear. I'm so glad, man. That's why we do it, right? I thought to myself the other day, right? Like, if I'm gonna get back into this casting stuff, I may as well do it properly. And I never took VOD review super seriously. Before it was actually something that I was going to try and heavily push to implement in the year that I got dropped from SEC. So I'm glad that I'm doing it now. Wow, Blaze, you know esports. You should teach it or something.
Still means
Oh my
that
If
God,
only
yes.
there was a course.
You're kind of guessing a little bit, but
Okay,
We've
so like Blah, I'm assuming this is gonna be an oh my goodness to the Izanami, which is great. That's exactly what I
We've
was
got
hoping
some
he would do.
even
They
more
would do.
spicy
Sorry.
picks on the other side.
Lock in the Athena. Do it.
Okay, they were talking about the Athena, not the Izanami. I think the Izanami is the more interesting pick, but
The
that's
badass
fine.
in the arena, but no, we're still hovering around for what I'm assuming a mid pick here. Well, I say a mid pick. It's a middle laner, the Vulcan.
We didn't need that clarification.
And we'll have to see whether or not it ends up being a mid pick or not.
I think you're two in your head there, Blur, about saying it's kind of a mid pick, where you're in your head thinking that people are gonna be there like, oh, why are you calling Vulcan mid? Vulcan's actually really good. When in context, I think we all knew that you were talking about mid. Don't get so far in your head.
Not. And the Amaterasu, I think Skjold has a fairly safe to assume positions. Maybe you want to throw the older allied Vulcan ADC, but I doubt it.
And again,
Especially when you'd be going up.
I'm not gonna pause it every time, but like,
either a Hercules.
I'm not gonna pause it every time, but like, this should have thrown to Zats ages ago.
That's pretty much set in stone. The only question is, where these Achilles and
Vulcan
Amaterasu are
is
going.
bold.
I expect
Better
Achilles to
comment.
go jungle. I
I'm assuming this is a bold pick for the mid lane.
think his jungle is pretty strong at the moment. It's very hard to deal with in the early game. Amaterasu will be a bit slower. I think I'd prefer to see her in the solo lane. We're still not sure what she's matching up into, but if it's that Kabrakan, which I'm sort of hoping it is, obviously the ability to silence the tremors, that's going to be nice in that matchup. So that's where I'd hope
This is
that
great.
would be.
Love
Looks
Zats
like
talking about the
they've rounded
matchups.
out their draft with the Fen. Yeah.
The what?
As it looks like they've rounded out their draft with the Fen. Yeah.
The Fenrir? I'm not sure what happened there, Sans. Here comes the mid pick. He's bold. the Fenrir.
That would be.
I
as
gotta hear
looks
it
like
again.
They've rounded out their draft with the Fen. Yeah.
Oh, it's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. You opened the fucking.
That's a very, very strong composition. I'm loving the comp. I'm loving the vision from the Visionaries. You've
Okay.
got 3.5 frontline already with Kabrak and Hercules, and if Fenrir wants to go tanky as well, there's so much engage that doesn't look like it comes on ultimates, because that's always the big thing to think that, like, Amaterasu, what's the engage for Skull? I'm thinking armor ults. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think this could have literally been. Definitely gets noise gate dipped. Dog over Fenrir. The last pick's gonna be dog. And then Zats obviously promptly goes, and by dog I mean he is a dog, not he's dog shit. But yeah, I think again from Blur, this could have literally been. I feel almost as if Blur's gotten the vision from Visionary line, and they're like, I want to run with this. It's a good line, but like. I think we could have even have seen. I think this team looks really strong, but Zats, can you tell me what vision the Visionaries have for how their comp should play? And then you let Zats do all this exposition about, the dive and etc. etc.
So
I should be Chaos. I should be a caster, so I can say, and Chaos brought a dog. Well, Midas, if you ever want to do a practice cast with me, bro, I could do with some chair 2 practice.
Wet plucks. I'm thinking.
I can
Artemis
teach you the
ults.
ways.
Those are long cooldowns and potentially dangerous. Kabrakan walks at you and hits a stun? Sweet. Hercules plucks you? Sweet. Fenrir jumps on you? Sweet.
Yeah, and
Oh, that was a terrible drop. Don't do that. That's what? Come on. Every drop to Zats has been so fucking rough, man. Like you leave Zats to dry at every single drop. Like, we're not in game. You're not in a rush to dip off so that you can take a breath before the fight starts. Ask Zats a question, man. Like, let the chat cook. That's such a mean drop.
Achilles blocks you, sweet. Fenrir jumps on you, sweet. Artemis ults. Those are long.
And like, okay, we know that Zats opens his mouth when he's ready to speak. Look at how not ready Zats is for this.
Kabrakan walks at you and hits a stun, sweet. Hercules blocks you, sweet. Fenrir jumps on you, sweet.
Yeah, and
Ugh. Don't do that. That's mean.
that's the key, isn't it? It's very, although you could say it's quite predictable, it's very easy to follow up on. It's very easy CC to confirm and to secure. The only real question.
Oh, thank you, Nightbot, for reminding my wonderful viewers that if you're enjoying the content, fucking follow. Do it. If you like, you don't have to. Hit the follow button. Ba-ding.
You have the follow up for that kind of CC now.
Unless you're already followed, in which case don't hit the follow button, because then you'll unfollow. So only press it if you haven't pressed it already. Oh gosh, I got the hiccups.
Arguably, Kabrakan and Hercules will have enough damage on their own, certainly in the early
No!
game, so that you're not worried
Don't
about that.
do it.
Assuming now it's going to be a Morrigan mid, so you know you've still got potential to follow up, as it were. But it actually is a pretty good follow.
This is the longest I've heard Zat
being able to
speak.
drop that dark
All
ball with
desk.
a ton of damage. She can swing with her abilities as well as her autos. So yeah, pretty strong drafts from both teams.
Yeah, I do like them and things. Is there any that, like, sort of, usually we look at the game plan and we end up figuring out is it an early or a late game draft,
question?
but we won't have to sit here and figure that out. We're going to go ahead and throw it right on over into game to find out. TJ DJ, Judas Priestley, show's yours.
Okay. Again. Blur goes to ask Zats a question again. And this time it's not even Blur's fault. The production just says we're ready to throw to game. And Blur has to cut off the question. Every time Zats gets cocked. Oh,
Is there
that's
any
so
that,
funny.
like, sort of
Okay, they want us to watch game 2, so we're gonna go to game 2.
Not exactly how they would have seen that going down.
Match.
Skull really trying to get basically game more action.
Unfortunately, in Smite 2, Observer is totally at the mercy of the players. Oh no, for sure, that's fine.
Necessarily work the first.
I'm
time,
not criticizing
Which is sort of-
I'm not criticizing it because it happens, right? It's just so funny that Blur spends the entire desk basically blue balling Zats, by nearly asking a question and then either answering it themselves or moving on entirely. And the one time that they actually get to ask Zats a question, they're cut off by the Observer. I just think that's very funny.
And try and focus
Right,
that a little bit more.
let's skip to the end of the
that
draft.
could work for them, and I think these last two picks can help with that. There's a bit more potential to maybe catch someone out like the Amaterasu, but I think this draft still leaves a lot to be desired. And on the other side, I think Skull it just looks really, really good to me.
Why?
Well, look what it comes back to. Every time, doesn't matter what items you buff, what gods you put in the game, 2 hunters, 3 frontline, it always comes back to it. And you know what? Skull have the way that they played that game last time, the synergy these players have, the communication. I love this draft for them.
Why?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It feels like they're in a position where they could have ran back the Vulcan, right? The Vulcan was fantastic. No complaints there, but actually, you're in a position where you can pick this Neath, and you just know it's going to look really good. Very, very safe. The damage is very, very high, and you can do it from a good range, good poke, good clear. Everything you kind of want. And yeah, as you say, the draft just looks great.
So we start off this thread by talking about the composition and about how no matter what you do to Smite, you'll always end up with this like double hunter meta, which we all, as veterans of the game, know is because double hunter meta is really good at securing objectives and fast pushing for Gold Furies and railing down Fire Giants, etc., etc. So we've covered like doesn't matter what you do, you'll always end up with this comp, but you haven't actually told us what this comp does or why we keep coming back to it, right? When in doubt, objective secure is always going to be strong. When in doubt, movement speed is always going to be at least usable, right? Like, those are core concepts. You got to iron that out, because you can't just be saying, oh, look, it's this comp. You gotta, and this is the main lesson that everyone should learn watching this VOD review, even, you know, the people in chat. When you are casting, you need to cast as if 20% of your audience has never seen the game before. That does not mean that you're going in depth on every single mechanic. You're not there like, last hits do this, and that's why they're important. But you have to go, instead of just going, oh, they're, you know, making sure to get those last hits, you're going, they're making sure to get those last hits, so that's going to give them a little bit of extra gold in the bank, where they're going to be able to do this, that, and the other, right? It's not about going into massive depth on what, you know, what the new players need to know, because otherwise you're going to alienate your audience that already know those things. It's just about giving your new audience enough so that when they watch, they can actually learn something. If I was a new viewer watching your first picks and bans, I wouldn't have learned anything, and I would be very confused as to what's going on and why. That's the biggest takeaway overall. And then for the desk specifically, Blur, you gotta shush. You gotta let Zat speak. You gotta work on your drops, because most of those were terrible. To Zat's, most of which halfway through a sentence, seemingly. Ask Zats more questions. Put little strings on Zats. Attach him to a little wood, like, cross. Make him do dances. Ask him questions and be like, what do they pick your mojo for? Dance, chair 2, dance! Right? So you want to make sure that you are getting your value out of Zats in this moment. You're just there to go, hi guys, look at my chair 2. Isn't he smart? Wow. Those are some picks. What did they mean, Mr. Amazing Chair 2? Anyway, over to the casters. That is your whole job as the desk host. You want to just ask your analyst all the questions all the time, and you're literally just there to move the conversation forward. That's all you are.
To me, and it's hard to really see past that. I hope, for the sake of this next game, I hope that the Visionaries are able to play around their kind of pick comp a little bit more, get a single pick here and there, and then try and use that to their advantage. But I'm predicting a tough one once again, I'm afraid.
It does look pretty tough, especially as well, because we're going into this. We don't know whether this is Kabrakan support, Armor solo, Ymir jungle, Amaterasu support, Cab solo, Ymir support. Like, even just the three there are insane. It could still be Cupid mid or Neath mid. I would imagine, like, the only way the players are going to know is they've got the snap moment between seeing where the gods are on the loading screen and getting into the game to figure out the plan of, it's this god jungle, this god support, what are we playing around here? Sure, for the Visionaries, they say, all right, we've got Yemoja on her early. We've got
I don't
Agni
think I have
in the
to
mid
add
lane.
anything
At least
to
we're
this.
assuming
Right,
all that, but
this
it's
should
going
all
to be
be
one
Zat
hell of an
speaking.
uphill battle going into this, and we will not deprive you of that
No
any
snort
longer.
from me
TJ,
there?
DJ
Wait, to which bit?
Judas, please bring us this game.
Yeah, like, so much of that should have been, like, all of this should have been Zat's up until you hear, oh, that was a nose snort from you. Oh, that's what I heard.
Once again, I'm afraid.
It does.
It's hard to really see past that. I hope,
missed it.
for the sake of this next game, I hope that the Visionaries are able to play around their kind of pick comp a little bit more, get a single pick here and there, and then try and use that to their advantage. But I'm predicting a tough one once again, I'm afraid.
It does look pretty tough, especially as well, because we're going into this. We don't know whether this is Kabrakan support, Armor solo, Ymir jungle, Amaterasu support, Cab solo, Ymir support. Like, even just the three there are insane. It could still be Cupid mid or Neath mid. Like, I would imagine, like, the only way the players are going to know is they've got the snap moment between seeing where the gods are on the loading screen and getting into the game to figure out the plan of, it's this god jungle, this god support, what are we playing around here? Sure, for the Visionaries, they say, all right, we've got Yemoja on her early. We've got Agni in the mid lane. At least we're assuming all that, but it's going to be one hell of an uphill battle going into this, and we will not deprive you of that.
I'm not gonna go back over it, but yeah, all of this should have been Zats. Up until you hear Kashi in your ear or whoever going, okay, ready to throw it to game. At which point, Zats finds a way to quickly get out. Blur goes, wow, Zats, what a smart thing you said. Anyway, here's the game. Take it away, Judas and TJ. And then you go to Judas and TJ.
Any longer. TJ, DJ, Judas, please bring us this game.
Yeah, it's a fine throw. I don't love it, but it's also fine.
Blur, it will be our pleasure. Thank you so much, Blur and Zats on the desk. Welcome back here for game number 2 between the Visionaries and Skull. And just like with game number 1, we're going to be hit by the pause. But what? You know what, Judas? In a game like game 1 where we had so much action, I will take any pause as and when they happen.
Any moment to just discuss.
Okay. That was fun. Sorry, I was too distracted by the mic was peaking there a little bit.
Please bring us this game.
Blur, it will be our pleasure. Thank you so much, Blur and Zats on the desk. Welcome back here for game number 2 between the Visionaries and Skull.
I think there was some bleed from me. Ah, okay, right. I got distracted. Yeah, I'm not sure that you have to thank Blur twice, right? Like, you come in, you're like, yeah, of course we will. Bring you the game. Thank you guys on the desk. I don't know. I think just like a thank you, Blur. It'll be our pleasure, Judas. Blah 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 blah. Thank you so much. Hey, chat. What was I saying to you guys earlier about Kiwi's cooking? Because they sent me a very disturbing message earlier saying that they were sorry about the food. Could somebody please put in chat? I'm not sure if anyone here heard me earlier, or if anyone is still here from earlier. But could anyone just put in chat real quick, just so that Kiwi can see what I said earlier on? I'm gonna hope that somebody will do that for me. I'm so sorry that you didn't like it. The mushrooms. The mushrooms made you feel icky. Okay. You refused to stop eating because it was delicious. This is true, even though it made the first part of VOD review probably very uncomfortable to watch. But I also said to the people that I'm actually devastated that they will never get to try your cooking because it is the best. So, and if you don't believe me, you can go and watch the VOD. You can review the VOD review. VOD review. VOD review. VOD review. You are so beautiful. Did you tell him no? Did he say do it anyway? Did he tell you how much he is going to pay you? That's not how that works. So you're working on that right now? No. Should you?
I don't understand what I'm supposed to do or how to use the program. It's stressing me out. I'm like having my 3rd set of tears.
Oh, baby. Alright, chat. I'm going to put some music on, and I'm going to just quickly go and give my wonderful partner a hug, because they need it. I'll be literally, like, a minute. What's up, chat? Okay. Let's get back to some VOD review, shall we? So, we just had the drop. We're doing the pickup now.
So much, Blur and Zats on the desk. Welcome back here for game number 2 between the Visionaries and Skull. And just like with game number 1, we're going to be hit by the pause. But what?
I like
you know
that.
what,
That's funny.
Judas? In a game like game 1 where we had so much action, I will take any pause as and when they happen.
Any moment
Great.
to just discuss.
Didn't love the
Smite,
pickup,
talk about
but
some
really liked
strategy.
the rest of
Yeah,
it.
even just breathe, because that is not what Skull gave us in game number 1. And to their credit, neither did Visionaries. We were just discussing between games how active Spyro had been on the Fenrir previously. Now, the slash line really didn't depict that, but that doesn't mean you need to knock them at all. It just didn't quite work. So hopefully for them, they can have a bit more success with it. But the real change-up I like here is for Beefy Geo on this Agni instead of the Morrigan. I touched on the fact that
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with the
Morrigan
audio.
in
We
the
definitely got some
previous
leak.
game went 0, 5, and 0 and just didn't really get the chance to do much. Agni, much more active as a mid laner. You can power farm, you can get involved in fights, and you can just constantly be
right.
a bit of a menace in the game. So really
My
like to
bad.
see this change up. I think that's a very
Thanks, Judas.
smart way to make this adjustment, and it doesn't hurt the rest of the team, right? Nothing was built around this Morrigan. It's not like Skull now picked up the Morrigan, but I do wonder
I was
how
in the right
Visionaries
place
will
to pick some
react. Will
bans.
they get aggressive early, or will they try to play it safe and just get themselves growing into this game a little more?
I think that's what Visionaries
good.
need to do, right? It's
Good.
the onus after a game 1 like that, when it was a roll, you know, in sub 20-minute defeats. They don't feel good regardless if they happen here in Tanuki or if they happen in just your standard games as well. So we want to see the response. And I do like that, say Visionaries just going back to basics, just playing pretty standard compositions. It's kind of just, you know, almost plays itself in a way, not as many moving parts. I wonder, as you say, they're able to find maybe get a bit more of a hold into this game that they didn't quite get in game number 1 here though. But Immortal Swift carrying on from game number 1, causing problems this time on the Ymir, not on the Sober.
Yeah, I think so. This is where I'm like, it maybe is going on a little too long. Like, I know, Judas, you held the mic for quite a while there, but you were, you know, you're in your chair too. Feels it's fine. I think we could have seen, I think, TJ drop it around here.
In a way, not as many moving parts.
Not as many moving parts. You get to talk a little
As
bit
you
more
say,
then
they're
about the
able to
comps.
find maybe get a bit more
And then we're ready for this engagement here. Because again, if we look at the mini-map,
moving parts.
at
I wonder, as you say,
this point here, right, we can very much already see, I mean, even a few seconds before, I'm in front, oh no, I'm not in front of the map, okay, good. You can already see, like, Visionaries, Dual Laner going for the middle buff, Skull about to come in and try and contest that, so we already know that there's some action going to happen, this way TJ's ready for it.
say they're able to find maybe
Because it
get a
sounds
bit
like
more
TJ wants
of
to
a
drop.
hold into this game that they
Here.
didn't quite get in
Like,
game.
literally, I can hear TJ going to drop and then seeing this, and then in his brain is going, oh, I need to carry on going because there's a potential kill here. But I think in the reality check in this moment, I think the advanced level jutsu is recognizing that this fight never leads into a kill. Anha has the jump, Yamoja's way too tanky and has Riptide, right? And just dropping anyway. The higher level play is going, I trust Judas to pick up this fight and throw it back to me straight away if something actually happens. So I'm actually not afraid to take a breath here because I've already been talking for a while. I need to drop it anyway. Yes, there is a fight happening right now, but I trust Judas to either pass it right back to me if the fight continues, or just take it and keep running with it if it doesn't. I think that's the next level jutsu that you'll need to get comfortable with, is just that trusting your chair too. I'm not sure how much you and TJ have casted together. I know I know you brought this up during my cast, the first VOD review that you did of me and Zats, in that we haven't really casted together. And I did this quite a fair amount to Zats, where I would drop after speaking because I was like, I have been speaking way too much. I need to drop this, and I'm going to trust Zats to throw it back to me. That is what you should all be doing, right? It's what we should all be doing with our chair twos, is going, I trust my chair two to pick this up and throw it back to me if the action is going to continue, or winding down if it's going to not continue. But otherwise, we get these moments where, like, I think TJ here has already been speaking for 40 seconds, and now this is going to make it another 10-15 by trying to drag over this fight, rather than just going, okay, I've already been speaking 40 seconds. It should have been 30, but here we are. There's a fight about to break out / breaking out right now. I'm going to take a breath, let Judas take it for a second, and then come back in. You haven't casted together in over 2 years. Like, fine. So, like, yeah, I can understand why the trust isn't there off the bat. But I think this is also me contesting one of the things that I heard you guys say in your review of me, in that, like, some of those drops were rough or questionable. It only sounded that way because there is that kind of lack of synergy between Zats and I, where we're building that up now. But I still, as I said, I think at the time, because I was in chat, I still stand by my decision to drop when I did in those moments, because I was trusting Zats, and that's what I think should have happened here.
Game number 1 here, though, but Immortal Swift carrying on from game number 1, causing problems, this time on the Ymir, not on the Sobek, banned away, but still on a pick that can be quite a nuisance in the right hands.
God, yeah, that was so much longer than even I thought. So much too long.
Definitely a change-up of type of god, but you can still play it in a similar fashion, right? You could be in the face of your opposing lane, get aggressive where you want, actually get
Good
more
pickup.
aggressive on the Emir
Ow.
than you do
Almost punched
on
my
the
desk.
Sobek in general. So I like it. I think, again, picking from the same score sheet, you know, you don't really want to change up too much from your game 1 draft because, well, game 1 went so well. You really don't need to change much of anything at all. We did question why there was this Cupid pickup as opposed to the Artemis, when Artemis is still
That
on
was
the
a
table,
clean
but it
clear.
does go so well into the composition of Visionaries, right? A lot of those gods hate having this cripple from the Fields of Love, and a little bit of danger there for Ginger Archer, but gets out safely, does pop that magic shell just in case they needed it. But yeah, like I was saying, in this dual lane, I think we expect to see a much more balanced game, as long as Visionaries don't
I
let
like
it
the
get out of
decision
control.
not to drop it to TJ there. I think if anything, just let TJ have the little pop off. I think your chair 1 monkey brain engaged there for a second, but you were like, that's a potential kill.
Right,
Let
a lot
me
of those gods
break
hate
my
having this
thoughts and talk about it.
cripple from the
And
Fields
yeah,
of-
there is a world here where if he doesn't shell, he's dead, but also he has shell. I thought I messed up.
Love, and a little bit of danger there for Ginger Archer, but gets out
You thought you messed up the call? What did you think that you messed up here?
into the composition of Visionaries, right? A lot of those gods hate having this cripple from the Fields of Love.
Oh, you thought you messed up by not dropping. Oh,
And
no, I
a
disagree.
little bit of danger there for Ginger Archer, but gets out safely, does pop that magic shell just in case they needed it. But
Yeah, I think if anything, no, that's fine. I think if anything, I wouldn't have highlighted even the play-by-play there. I think we hear TJ go, ooh, I think maybe you give a small Ginger Archer forced to shell there, but then move on. Like, the fight, I guess the fight is kind of important. It is a big resource pot. Okay, no, I take that back.
Ginger Archer, but gets out
Yeah,
safely.
because
does
you
pop
don't
that
overdo it.
magic
You go
shell
into that and then you
in
just go
case
back
they
on your
needed it.
thought
But
process.
yeah, like I was saying, in this dual lane, I think we expect to see a much more balanced game, as long as Visionaries don't let it get out of control like they did previously. They don't need to win this lane in the way that they
See
did
the Fenrir.
previously, so they can make things happen slowly, but maybe with the activity of Spyro, they want to get something done quick.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I think generally that was really good. I think maybe you could have dropped it a little sooner to TJ so that he could maybe talk about Spyro coming in himself. I think you maybe could have dropped it
Like they
around.
did previously. They don't
They did it
need to
previously.
win this game. This
Because we see the Fenrir coming over, and then TJ can go.
lane in the way that they did
Well, we saw how it worked out last time. We'll have to see how it goes this time as
previously,
Spyro
so
starts
they
to
can
make his
things
way
happen
over.
slowly,
But by holding it a little bit longer, you give TJ a little bit more of a launch pad to
but
come in.
maybe
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind the decision to keep going. Honestly, I think it's fine. It
with the
works.
activity of Spyro, they want to get something done quick.
Oh, Jude Muffin looking for that.
And you get out as soon as Spyro enters the lane, so you don't miss anything. Yeah, like probably a little too close, but it's fine. It works. Yeah, I take it back. I think cutting earlier would left TJ in that weird little space where there's still like 10 seconds before the gank actually happens.
Some good
That's
about it. Immortal Swift actually misplaces the wall, and Cresco pounces for it. Here comes Spyro. Big triple freeze though, but Immortal Swift, much like the start of game number 1, is gonna get caught out. First blood secured by Spyro, but his fight's not over yet because Samuel does trade back on towards Crescavo. But with the brutalize, with the follow-up, Spyro, what a start. Double kill for the Visionaries jungler.
good. Fucking awesome. Love that.
It's a shame that Samuel goes down, but you're more than happy
Great
with
call.
how that goes. Sorry, it's a shame that Kriskova was the one to go down, but you're still happy with that if you are the Visionaries.
Wait,
because
sorry,
we
who?
saw Kriskova was the one to go down, but you're more than happy with how
Crisco.
that goes. Sorry, it's a shame that Kriskova was the one to go down,
Crisco.
but you're still happy with that
I love
if
that.
you are the Visionaries,
That's
because
fun.
we saw how much Spyro wanted to...
That might be a new vocal stem. I'll throw it in between my everything is computer and I love Tesla.
impact the map on this Fenrir, and there is
Chris
no better way
Lowe.
to do that than by getting an early lead. So these 2 kills being on the Fen doesn't matter that it didn't go to the Anhur. The Anhur was the one that fell. This will be probably better overall for the Visionaries, but we now need to see Spyro do some more. And again, I expect it. I expect them to play this game much as they played the previous game, and actually going to catch Splatoons on this blue buff.
Okay, you got out.
There was a really nice Riptide coming out of Jude Muffin.
You nearly didn't get out there. I was thinking to myself, oh no, he's gonna be late. But again, exact same comment. Yeah, you cut it maybe a little too close, but it worked out.
Tune back into the mixer, and it's Spyro gonna grab the third of the 3
That's exactly what
kills
you're
for the
talking about.
Visionaries,
Spyro getting more
looking
stuff
to
after
get
the
some
stuff.
pressure on towards Farzax there
No
with the
way.
blue butt invade,
Beautiful.
and there is a Ragnarok. Good use of the beads coming out from Farzax. Will be joined by Oath over towards the left-hand side. Looks like the blue buff was secured by the side of the Visionaries as well. Really?
Little brain stutter. I could hear it as TJ was trying to figure out who got the blue buff. But I love that little mid pop from
On
you,
towards
Judas.
Farzax there
No
with the
way.
That no way was so perfect.
blue butt invade, and there
Nice
is a
edge
Ragnarok. Good use
casting.
of the beads coming out from Farzax.
You're playing with fire, kid.
Will be joined by Oath over towards the left-hand side. Looks like the blue buff was secured by the side of the Visionaries as well. Really a much better opening few minutes coming out from your order side.
Oh, it's a dream start.
Beautiful.
But I have to shout out
Good
Farzax.
layoff as
you
well.
just saw 3 people defend their own blue buff. You can't just go, I'm just going to go wander over and do mine. That is not going to happen the way you want ever, all right? You just need to be a bit more alert to the situation, reading the room and figuring out how to respond to it. Now, there's an essence of just trying to secure it before they can. And yes, Farzax did get out alive, but it's just never going to go the way that you want. And putting yourself in harm's way is never going to be a good thing. Bit of a trade of ults going on this left-hand side. Oh, maybe more danger, actually.
Ooh, but
I think you tipped over the knife's edge a little there, Judas. It's a hard one, right? Because it's essentially the same fight that happens over in the right lane, but I don't like this one nearly as much because with Skull, Achilles has Shell, right? And like you can read that as a caster and be like, okay, so I know that this early game fight probably isn't going to go that easy because of Shell. Over here on the left-hand side, both ADCs have beads. So as
That's
soon as you
never going to
see...
go the way that you want, and putting
they're never going to go the way that you want them.
yourself in
I mean, we see the Cupid hit. I mean, the Cupid does just, like, hard
harm's
engage.
way is never going to be a good thing. But
And, like, yeah, I think you could have
never going
been...
to go the way that you want, and putting
never going to go the way that you want, but left side, Fields of Love, right? And then you can let TJ come in there, but
yourself in harm's way.
you leave
is
it
never
so
going to be a
late.
good thing. Bit of a trade of ults going on this left-hand side. Oh, maybe more danger, actually.
like, there's like a second delay. So I'll give you that there's a second delay. And you still got out too late.
ooh, but Crescavo on his on her, a little bit more safe to open her eyes over towards the mid lane. The River's Rebuke does come out as Jude Muffin.
Yeah, and you can really feel the delay in that call there. Wasn't planning on dropping here because he totally shouldn't dash in, but he got me. Dropping here, yeah, and that's kind of fair, right? That's fair. And as soon as you see the Fields of Love, like I'm sure your brain goes, okay, he's gonna beat and jump away. But like, yeah,
putting yourself in
you're
harm's
fully
way
right in
is
that
never
you
going
know
to be a
the
good
Cupid
thing. Bit of a
probably
trade-off going on
shouldn't
this
dash in here, but also, you know, Arno doesn't get
You
super
want them
far
putting yourself in
away.
harm's way is never going to be a good
He
thing.
turns back
Bit of a
around, and then
trade-off.
he's still stunned, right? So, I don't know. I still think that you got out too late.
on this left-hand side. Oh, wait,
Personally.
more danger, actually.
Ooh, but Kreskovo on his on her, a little bit more safe to open her eyes over
You really
towards the
could
mid
put the
lane.
lane in the
River's
second there.
Rebuke does come out as Jude Muffin may be
Beautiful
caught there,
wall.
but with a really nice beat, but really even better wall coming out from Immortal Swift takes down Jude Muffin and Skull, making sure Visionaries know that they are still in this game. Spyro trying to defend his speed camp here, but the rest of the team says, Spyro, I don't think you
Wall.
want to be here, buddy. Immortal Swift wants to throw you back in.
I'll never not hear fucking... Who was it casting that game? I think it might have been Mifflin. Just every time PBM put up a wall or Awesome Jake put up a wall, it was just wall! Wall!
But they have to concede the pressure.
I'll never
and look
not hear
towards
it in my
speak up.
brain.
Here comes Kreskovo. Maybe he's able to do something. Low health bars on Toon on Immortal Swift. And now BVGO double stun coming.
This is a BM moment for the
Do
Agni.
something. Low health bars on Toon on Immortal Swift. And now
BVGO.
BVGO.
What the fuck, man? How do you miss that? He's stunned! He can't move!
Double stun coming out. And here comes Kreskovo as well. Gets the kill and avenges his fallen.
Not gets the kill, secures the kill because BVGO fucking can't!
Comrade gets the kill onto Immortal Swift.
Really nice play there from Visionaries, and really nice
Good
play
drop.
again there from Spyro. I like the way that they took that engagement, didn't commit the leap or the brutalize there because they knew if an Emir wall comes up, they'd be in some danger. So
Watch
just
where you're
took
walling.
an attempt
Watch
at a
it.
fight, asked some questions of Skull, and Skull reacted correctly, but of course Spyro played it safely enough that they didn't end up falling down there, and it just bought some time
Achilles is
for
playing
the rest
with
of the team to
fire.
come and sweep up. And again, Beefy Geo able to get active on the map early on. One assist in the column, more than you had this set so far. Much happier with how this game has gone so far. If you are on the side
So
of the
far.
Visionaries, you just need to
Oh, Judas! Judas! I found your crutch word!
keep it rolling. They have built this composition which doesn't
I
need
think.
to have high momentum, but it does very, very well with it. With this Fenrir, with this Agni, who's only going to start doing more damage. And if you can rotate that Achilles into the action too, it will be a really good sign for the future if you're the Visionaries. Now, you just need to be careful you don't give up too much because clearly Skull are more than willing to fight back. You see them immediately react to just pressuring out Kreskovo on the left. That nets them a speed buff invade, right? Reacting to what is happening across the whole map is just showing signs of a team that's very well organized, which again is what we saw in game number 1. So really like seeing that Skull are still playing as well as they were, but this time Visionaries showing up to the game here, and I really feel like they're in this one.
They're just
Okay.
grouping up really well in this left-hand
Okay,
quadrant
fine,
of the
good, I
map,
like it.
taking away that purple buff. Unfortunately, Samuel's got to sit
Maybe a
underneath
little
that
long,
tower. He's
but it's
happy
fine.
to trade
It
it, but
works.
Kreskovo is trying to play this one out, knowing that reinforcements are waiting in the wings. That's what's going to happen, but the River's Rebuke does not catch. Ragnarok doesn't connect as well. Samuel with the Fields of Love can't find a kill under the tower. Looked for the outplay, but is able to defend and stands his ground as 3 members of the Visionaries have to reset.
We go up there. Stand your ground as three.
To defend
We're
and
going up.
stands his ground as 3 members of the Visionaries have to reset.
I don't mind that.
My thoughts exactly, Jonas. That's. If you want to know how I feel about that last call,
And stands his ground as 3 members of the Visionaries have to reset.
if you want to know my opinion on that call, TJ.
I don't mind that. For the Visionaries, you've committed a lot to an attempt on the life of Samuel, but it doesn't come off, which is a shame. But now you just need to react accordingly. Don't now try to chase for a kill on another side of the map because you've used a lot of your resources, and you need to keep that Gold Fury alive, most importantly. I'd love to see Skull look to pull this objective. You see them threatening this purple buff on the left hand side.
Oh
Future
my
Archer, and a
goodness.
more threat will get out from that Phantom Shell, but I think left
Okay, Judas. This is what I was worried about with these knife edge casting calls. I think you're slipping a little too much into chair 1 brain, when we both know if this was anyone else, you would be telling them off for not dropping to you at like this point at the very least. At the very least, like, hold on.
Look to pull this
Like, here's when I would start looking to get out.
objective. You see them threatening this.
This is where I'd shut up, right? Like, at that moment, you're like, what? That, you know, this is a very, very scary. You stay in and cast it.
Alive, most importantly. I'd love to see Skull look to pull this objective. You see them threatening this purple buff on the left-hand side. Ginger Archer, under a bit more threat, will get out from that Phantom Shell, but I think left-hand side is where the fight's really brewing.
Yeah, I think you should have dropped that way sooner. Like, we're literally watching. And, yes, it's a solo lane slap fight, but that, like, health bars are starting to get low.
I'd love to see Skull
like, you get away with it like, solely based on the fact that a kill doesn't happen. So, like, yeah, it's just a solo lane slap fight, but, like, as soon as we get to this moment, Ginger Archer is still really low. Forza has a lot more in the tank ready to go. You're still talking about this left lane invade, which is important, does come into play. But it's this give and take between Rosie and you, or whoever it is that was spectating. Clearly, they want you to talk about this. And if you want to talk about the left lane, like, I mean, you are talking about the left lane, so that's nonsense. I just got lost in the source. Ignore me. You're still talking about the left lane. We're looking at the right hand side. I think you should have gotten out here, recognizing there's a fight bringing in left. We're seeing this fight in right. There's going to be a lot of action here for TJ to cover.
Objective, you see them threatening this purple buff on the left-hand side.
I think you should have gotten out a lot sooner here.
Will get out from that Phantom Shell, but I think left-hand side is where the fight's really brewing.
See Spyro.
I like that, and like that's a good passover. But I think that TJ could have grabbed that himself.
Damage.
Especially seeing as nothing happens and you basically just taken the whole action away from TJ.
Riptide will come out, but Jude Muffin actually just wants to pull back the leash on this Fenrir and say, no, not yet at this point. Can't afford
That's a
any
nice little
extensive,
bit of
'cause the rest
texture. I like
Skull
that.
were
Not
waiting
yet.
in the wings, but, you know, granted, that probably was actually a bit of a misplay on Riptide, but, you know, less about that, the better.
No! No! You had such a good texture for it! Oh, you set up such a good little narrative of, like, mom dude, like, Jude Muffin being, like, the mom who's reining in the hyperactive kid for now. Or, like, trying to protect Spyro from overdoing it. And then we go back to, oh, it was probably a misplay.
In the wings, but...
Like, you've said it was a cool play. Stick with it.
That probably was actually a bit of a misplay. But, you know, less about that, the better, though. But what I do like about this start from Judas for the Visionaries is I think we get to see a much better representation of what these players are capable of, because now they have a very strong and solid foundation, and it feels like they can actually play out the MOBA and really go toe-to-toe with Skull.
Good. Exactly where I thought you were going to drop it.
The last game, we were less than 10 minutes out from this point on in the game. This time, I don't see this game ending in the next 10 minutes, right? Everyone has had
the last game ended in 18
starts
minutes
of the game. Pretty much
crazy.
On the
Why can none of my
want
casts
the game
be
to
that
go,
short?
right?
The fuck?
Maybe the only people who are a bit disappointed is the Skull duel lane.
Why do I end up with all the 40-minute slap fests?
Even then, they're not too upset with how the game's gone so far. It could very quickly get out of control, though, especially if Samuel gets caught here.
Good.
Use that flutter, but Spyro's waiting for it. The fields of love do come out.
How does this guy miss Ragnarok this much?
Available for Samuel is just going to eventually be timed out, and Spyro gets the killing blow. Good pick there. No response possible from the Skull Squad.
And an extra response coming out from the Visionaries. Looks like they're looking to pull this goal.
I like that, TJ. I think this is you should have highlighted here. Maybe. I like the way that here's the problem. I like the way that you get out, but like you probably should set up Judas here to go for Gold Fury. Man, you guys are making this hard. This is a really good cast. You're making this a really difficult VOD review for me. I preferred the desk review where I just got to say shut up.
And an extra response coming out from the Visionaries. Looks like they're looking to pull.
Judas picks it up. Like, again, it's one of those, you get away with it, but I think you should have set up that Gold Fury for Judas to take rather than letting Judas do it.
Gold Fury as well, and Skull are nowhere nearby. They've been taking down the Queen Naga. This looks like it should be free Gold Fury, and it will help them massively here, because as much as the Visionaries have had good success, especially to game number
Yeah, and then that kind of, and that's the fucking kill in right lane that we've been teasing the entire game. And that way you kind of let Judas just have that moment of, cool, and here's why that matters, rather than having to go, yeah, they're going to come over here and it's going to be free, etc., etc. You can just go, Skull, they're going to win the, Visionaries are going to win that pick onto Samuel. Now there's nothing standing between them and the Gold Fury. Right, and then Judas gets the launch straight into, and yeah, it should be a free Gold Fury. This is why it's going to be important. This is why Visionaries really needed that play, or whatever. Here's how it's going to be more difficult for Skull.
They're actually still down a little bit on the gold charts. A solo kill on the right-hand side. Ginger Archer finally going down there, but it seems like Fozax just kind of has their number in this set so far, so definitely need to be careful that that lane doesn't get out of control from the Visionaries. But we're in very even state here. That's a relatively small XP difference at this point.
Did Ymir
so
start
not expecting
outside?
too much in the way.
Wait.
Relatively small.
But Ymir was out of that. What?
We're in very even state here.
That's crazy. Ymir is out of that line and he gets
Relatively
scooped
small
in. That's
XP
insane.
difference at this
I would
point,
feel
so
mad.
not expecting too much
If
in
I
the
was
way of
Immortal
anything
Swift,
to
I'd
get
feel
under
mad about that.
control just yet, but Visionaries have had.
I don't even care
the
that I didn't
momentum
die.
with
I would just
them.
be mad that I took
They're
the
probably
damage.
feeling much better about how this game has gone, but Skull, like I said, very organized and have done a very good job of keeping this game stable despite dropping a few kills early on, and having a Fenrir that's 4-0 not feel like they're outrageously ahead, right, as you'd normally expect with that type of scoreline. So I think Skull have weathered the storm quite well, but they do have not quite as good of a late game as they had previously. They can't quite rely on just outscaling the opponents here. It's going to be very even across the board with that. It's really going to come down to these hunters, and with Kraskovo having now picked up a kill on Samuel just then, or with the help of Spyro, of course, it now makes things much more difficult for
Ymir
Skull
goes
if
to
you're
him.
looking to scale around that left-hand side of the
I
map,
hear that
because
Ymir
that's where you're
is
really gonna start to
invincible, but
feel
also very
the pressure
sore.
of
Any
this
comment?
lead that the Visionaries are expecting to build from here.
Okay, Judas, I think this is really good texture. Really good, texture's not the right word. I think there's really good context here, really good flavor. I can't help but feel it just goes on a little long. Like what you'll hear.
But they do with not able this all, like I said, them with them to get out of XP control from the Vision in this to finally go down a little bit. The Visionaries have had Fury nearby, and from the Visionary
Pick there, no response possible from the Skull Squad.
So that's 10-12.
Fury, good shot, actually, any of them very good kill. Yeah, they can't cross the kill things where you
But how different is games wanting to just
lead that the Visionaries are expecting to build from here.
That's 2 minutes that you're on the mic there, near enough. A minute and a minute and 40 seconds. Because 11:49. So yeah, you go from 10:12 to 11:49. It feels like, even if it's just for a moment, and again, it kind of works the same way that I was speaking earlier about how chair ones shouldn't be afraid to drop off to chair two to pick up like a second of action and then throw it back. Don't be afraid to take a breath when you need to, because that felt long. I don't know if you're are you like actively listening to the stream? Is it on in the background? I'm not sure. Like, if you heard all of that, like, did it feel long to you listening to it back? Because it felt long to me. So I don't know if there's maybe a way in that. And it's difficult because the way that you constructed the sentence, it needed to go that long, I think, with what you were saying. I'm thinking there's got to have been a way in that for you to get out and then go back in. No, that's what I'm saying, right? The way that you were the things that you were saying, the way that you were saying it lent itself to what you did. So what you did was like correct. Like it felt right for what you were saying. What I'm saying is that I think you should have changed either the way you approached the subject or change the way that you spoke about it to give yourself, just like that little break. I don't think a caster should be speaking for more than like a minute at a push, 40 seconds per person, right back and forth. But like, even if that's, you know, you're speaking for 40 seconds, then TJ takes 5 seconds, passes it straight back to you, and lets you continue your point. Yeah, that I would just watch out for that, because just that felt like a very run-on sentence. That's something I've seen from both of you actually quite a lot in this cast so far. Is that both of you, when you have the mic, and there's not action, because TJ's been doing a really good job of just putting it back to you. But I think let TJ push you a little bit, and this might be a little bit, again, the kind of the relationship between TJ and yourself reforming. But the same way that I was saying to Blur that they need to work Zats like a little marionette doll, it should be what you're doing, what TJ's doing to you. Right? So TJ, you should be literally going, so Judas, tell me about this. And then you answer that question. Very interesting. What about this? You answer that question. Oh, look, there's a fight. How did that fight go, Judas? How could Skull recover from it? Right? So you go off on this big rant again about, I can't even remember what we were talking
It's
about.
really going to come down.
We're talking about the team styles and how they're playing, which is very important information. Don't get me wrong, super important information. And again, you get across the point. I think maybe a little long-winded for what it needed to be. I think it's probably the best way I can summarize this point. Just try and keep things a little more concise. TJ, ask more questions that Judas can answer and then throw back to you to change up that vocal texture a little bit, because otherwise we end up listening to the same voice for too long.
To these hunters, and with Chris Core on that left-hand side of the map, because that's where you're really going to start to feel the pressure of this lead that the Visionaries are expecting to build from here.
Spyro is wanting to just solve and right some wrongs here in his right-hand side. For how different this game has been, the right lane has been consistent, though.
Wow,
with
every
Fozax
time we're
feeling the
looking
pressure.
one way,
4 members, the full welcome
the other lane
wagon
gets a kill.
comes
That's
out.
crazy.
Fozax goes down, but you look towards the map, though, and you look towards
Good
the fact that
recovery. Little
Kreskovo
stutter.
is down.
It
The
happens.
only member who didn't rotate got picked off as Skull made the play left as Visionaries went right.
I actually quite like this from Visionaries because there's no Gold Fury up, and if you are ever going to commit that many players to a solo lane gank, the biggest punish is that the Gold Fury goes down. Now, with that not being the case, I think it's an inspired pick. Now, even with Kraskovo falling down, yes, you wouldn't like that.
Yeah, but what are they getting out of the pick? It's like, cool, it's inspired, but like, I mean, do they get the tier 1 tower? Okay, they get the tier 1 tower. Okay, alright, fair enough.
It's
fair
an
enough.
inspired pick. Now, even with Kraskovo falling down, yes, you wouldn't like that, but it doesn't put them too far behind. They're not suffering by any means. It felt like Ginger Archer was on the cusp of beginning to suffer, but maybe punished for the speed buff invade.
Well, Toon actually went the wrong way there, able to at least reposition, get to Immortal Swift. That Relic is going to be popped just to try and get them out
Too
there.
fast.
Skull looking for the full retreat here. Jude Muffin going to find the
Good
the
wall.
Riptide on towards Immortal Swift and the pillar
Beautiful.
coming out there. But a really nice use of the wall, able to disengage Spyro. Sniffing around, maybe.
I think again, I'm not sure if this is just sheer delay, but like this fight ends.
Relic is going to be popped there.
I mean,
able to
realistically,
suffer,
this
Maybe
fight
punished for the
ends.
speed buff invade.
Well, Toon actually went the wrong
Here.
way there, able to at least
Right.
reposition.
As soon as you know that all 3 of these guys are out, like that's it. They've got no more
Get
juice.
to Immortal Swift.
Visionaries literally have nothing at this point to catch up to any of them.
Relic is going to be popped just to try and get
And you can hear the energy start to falter out of TJ's voice as he keeps going here.
them out there. Skull looking for the full retreat here. Jude Muffin going to find the Riptide on.
Yeah, well, we're still talking about the Riptide. That's got to be delay. I got to give TJ the benefit of the doubt that that's got to be delay. If it's not delay, that's crazy. But like, that's got to be delay because he's like 3 seconds behind. I'm not sure if that's just lag, like brain lag, or what. There's another little stutter there actually, so it could be brain lag. But like, I'm gonna chalk that up to delay.
On towards Immortal Swift and the pillar coming out there. But a really nice use of the wall, able to disengage Spyro. Sniffing around, maybe looking for an angle, not going to find it once again. Goal start the fight, but everyone's have to back away. Ginger Archer wanting to make amends for that right-hand side. It's going to try and make their presence known here. The rest of the team reacting well, keeping up the tension. Spyro should be pulled on towards this support, though. But it does.
See, okay, this is one of those things, right? We get out of this fight here.
Out there, but a really nice use of the wall, able to disengage Spyro. Sniffing around.
Really nice wall, able to disengage.
Maybe looking for an angle, not going to find.
Spyro still looking for an angle. At this point, TJ, you know there's another fight going to happen. You need to get out. I can hear it in your voice. You can feel it. You know, you've been talking too long. There's already been one fight. Get out. Drop it to Judas. Judas can pick it up and go, what a beautiful disengage there from Skull, but Visionaries, they don't want to walk away empty-handed, right? And then you can pick it back up here.
They're the ones have to back away.
But
Ginger Archer.
now you're drawn into this situation where you've already casted one kind of fight.
Wanting to make amends. for
And
that
now you're
right-hand
still on
side,
the
so gonna
mic
try and
here.
make their presence known here. The rest of the team reacting well, keeping up the tension. Spyro should be called on towards this support, though. But it does go into the ultimate. Immunes it, though, but can't immune the damage as Immortal Swift crumbles at the weight of the Visionaries' damage coming out here.
Great pick. for
And
Vision.
and again, you drop it good in the end. And to be fair to you, TJ, that's a fine call. If you were forced into that situation, like if Judas had to walk away from the mic for whatever reason and you had to just keep speaking, I like that. But you have a chair too, right? This feels like such a solo caster mentality, kind of from both of you here. These really long run-on sentences. You got a chair two, you got a chair one. Use your partner. Like, take a breath, take that moment to go out, let them push it back to you.
Visionaries again, they've done that very well. It's just selecting a target that's isolated and picking them off. But need to be a bit more careful when these team fights are happening, right? When it's all in on one, they seem really organized. But when it's got multiple targets involved, I think in particular Jude Muffin just needs to be a lot more careful with the way they're placing these Riptides. It actually seems to be benefiting Skull a lot more than it's hurting them there. You see a Riptide that didn't really do a lot to benefit the Visionaries, and then all of a sudden the River's Rebuke goes up with a small gap at the edge. But unfortunately, there's no Riptide available anymore to block that gap off because you used it previously and not paid off with it. So just a few little mechanical issues here coming out from the Umoja, which is always a risk when you select this pick for you to be that consistent support. Oh my goodness, I was just going to let that one go, but Toons has just eradicated Karaskovil before our eyes, committed a war crime, and now Skull looking to turn that into a gold
that's a
feud
spooky
on
situation.
top of it. And why not with all this pressure?
Yeah, I like the drop. I respect the decision to not drop there. That's
Because you
crazy.
used it out from the Umoja, which is always a risk when you select this pick for you to be the
Like that's a crazy amount of damage. I think maybe if anything, at like
issue share coming out for the Umoja, which is always a risk when you select this.
I think maybe at this point you go, which is always a risk. Hold on, left side. Anna's nearly in trouble. Kresko, where did you Kresko go? You know, maybe not with the pun, but like, I don't know. Maybe put something into it where like don't be afraid to sound like you're being caught off guard with the audience. Because that is fully out of nowhere. I don't blame you for not dropping it. I think maybe you could have drawn more attention to how actually surprising that was. I think is the only thing I'd say.
Toons has just eradicated Karaskovil before our eyes.
No, like it feels like you noticed, right? But it feels like you wanted to get through your point no matter what. Like you had the point that you wanted to make about Umoja and mechanics. And you weren't gonna let even the super surprising moment pull you away from that. Because you go into it afterwards, right? I just think you could have had that moment there where you're there like, wait a minute, what just happened? Right? Like, get caught off guard with the audience. You're watching at the same time as we are.
Committed a war crime, and now Skull looking to turn that into a gold.
Don't be afraid to play reactionaries, is kind of what I'm saying, right? Where, like, if something crazy happens, don't be afraid to just put whatever you were talking about in the bin. And just move on. Because at the end of the day, when you're in analyst mode, that's great, but we're only ever in analyst mode when there's nothing to talk about happening right now. So when something happens right now, typically 9 out of 10 times it's going to be more important to go, oh, let's talk about that instead.
On top of it, and why not with all this pressure?
And I think this will be the big test for the Visionaries as well. At this state in the game to get to it, so Skull looking to answer back in. This Skull Fury might be a big swing though, but you can see teams starting to arrive. 4 members of the Visionaries looking around. They just can't get anywhere near it. Skull coming out with the zoning. Vozax and Immortal Swift making sure no one can get towards that pit, though. Beefy Geo wanted to get a little bit greedy. Might have been caught out, but he's able to use the Flame Trail to get to safety at least. But Gold Fury cleanly secured by Skull. Able to grab himself a gold lead.
Here's one thing I'll say, TJ. You do a really fucking good job of getting the player names, man. I'll just say it. Don't be afraid to mix it up, right? Use the player names, but also use the character names, right? Especially if you're in a moment where I feel like in some of these fights, there's like that slight pause where you're looking to find the name of the character of the player. When it's perfectly fine to just go with like, oh, Agni gets out of there, right? BVGO's able to make it out. Agni's able to make it out around the backside, right? It's the same thing with ability names, right? I think variety is key. If you're always calling it by the ability name like itself, it's going to get boring. If you're always calling it, you know, the descriptions like the Agni Dash, that's going to get boring. You know, do something more descriptive. Switch it up a little bit. Don't be afraid to do that. Not a criticism, just putting it out there. Don't be afraid to.
And this is where Visionaries need to be careful. They are, like I've said, not in the lead in this game. They are just about even, but they can't play it too passively. Goes for a steal over the wall, but not going to happen there. Oath with a secure. And here comes a big Rivers Rebuke.
Rivers on
Beautiful
towards
drop.
3 members.
Good job.
To try and crash down, looking for that team to follow up. Spyro's one pumping out the damage. Now here comes Ginger Archer. Here comes the rest of the team. But Kreskovo has been poked out. And Toons asking so many questions. Able to at least take down Spyro. But it's a trade 2 for 1 as shutdowns fly either direction for both of these teams. Ginger Archer looking to go into pursuit to take down Oath, who gets to the tier 1 tower. 2 for 1 as both teams clash at the Pyromancer.
Can we have come in higher
Rivers
there?
on towards 3 members.
Oath with a secure. And here comes a big Rivers Rebuke.
I feel like Judas, you set this up at like a here.
Rivers on towards.
And then TJ, you come in at like a here. So like we get like.
Going to happen there. Oath with a secure. And here comes a big Rivers Rebuke.
Here comes a big Rivers Rebuke! And then TJ goes.
Rivers on.
Rivers Rebuke
Towards
onto. Like you kind of go down. You want to match kind of the energy that Judas is giving you. So this should have been.
And there. Oath with a secure. And here comes a big Rivers Rebuke.
Rivers on towards.
This should have been a big Rivers Rebuke. Rivers Rebuke onto
3 members.
towards 3 members to try and crash down, looking for that team to follow up. Right, and that way you're like you're matching Judas's energy. It feels a little weird going down. I've been told I dropped too hot from chat too. I think this was okay though. Yeah, no, I thought this was like. This is a big fight. This is 3 people are trapped inside a baby cage, right? Like, yes, you know the Phantom Shell comes out, but as you're saying it, that's not something you're thinking about. So this is a big moment, right, for Visionaries here to really secure a foot back into this game that's slipping more and more towards Skull's control. I think you're fine dropping this up. I think TJ should have matched your energy there. I think if anything, I can see why TJ would go down after seeing the shell, but it should still be a matches your energy and then comes down. In the same way that if you're meeting a chair 1 at the end of a call, either you're leaving that kind of like half-second pause for yourself to come back down, or you're matching them up here and then bring it down gradually. But I think that just this weird step down feels strange.
On towards 3 members
to me,
anyway. Crash down,
I like the call though.
To follow up, Spyro's one pumping out the damage. Now here comes Ginger Archer. Here comes the rest of the team. But Kreskovo has been poked out, and Toons asking so many questions, able to at least take down Spyro. But it's a trade 2 for 1 as shutdowns fly either direction for both. Takedowns been poked out, and Toons asking so many questions.
2 into asking so many questions?
Here comes the rest of the team, but Kreskovo has been poked out, and Toons asking so many questions, able to at least take down Spyro, but it's a trade 2 for 1 as shutdown.
Oh, Toons! Okay.
Towns fly either direction for both of these teams.
Okay,
Andrade
right, that makes more sense.
looking to go into pursuit to take down Oath, who gets to the tier 1 tower 2 for 1 as both teams clash at the Pyromancer.
I like that call.
It's a tough one to say exactly who comes out on top with that.
I think the biggest thing that I've seen from TJ is when you drop at the end of a fight, you just drop at the end of the fight, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you could use that to set up something for Judas, right?
At the Pyromancer.
So that they clash at the Pyromancer is such a good line to drop off on. But instead, we could be seeing Clash of the Pyromancer and now 2 towers either side for forfeit, right? It's a little longer, but it then directs Judas into where he should be talking, if that makes sense. So, like, yes, you're insert, you know, and you can probably word it a little bit different, and if you know that that's where you're going with it, you'd obviously phrase it in a way that gets you there sooner. But I think setting up the fact that Skull and Visionaries are both going to get a tier 1 tower off the back of this fight, or, you know, probably, I'm not sure if Skull actually get this, Visionaries actually get this tier 1 in mid. But, like, you then give Judas something to focus on and a next step for where the conversation should go, right? Instead, it feels like blah 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 blah. Judas is doing his thing. Oh, here you go, TJ. Here's a fight. Fight. End of fight. And then Judas has to come in with, okay, moving on. Here's what happened in the fight. Judas. Right? Rather than going Judas. Here's the fight. TJ. Thanks, Judas. TJ. Fight. Here you go, Judas. Right? It should. You know, like those kind of like hard drops are perfectly fine every now and then, but I feel like most of the time you should be at least trying to soft pitch your chair to something to talk about so that they're not just going, oh fuck, shit, now I have to find something on the board to discuss.
Again, what Visionaries would have liked to build this momentum and keep it rolling, but it did lose the Pyromancer in the process. You generally say even a 2 for 1 is in favor of Skull here, especially because they weren't able to convert that into a mid lane tier 1 tower as well. But good signs of life from Visionaries. I'm sure this will be a much bigger confidence boost. Speaking of...
And again here, we're just...
But good signs of life.
Like, we see the dash in, good signs of life, feels the love, where did Cupid come from?
Speaking of confidence.
Right, like, you can react to that moment and then just hot drop it to TJ, right? Obviously, that's the end of the fight, but TJ can have something to talk about.
Fields of love coming down.
Because he's going to take the mic here anyway.
A lot of war there, not necessarily a lot of blows up Kreskovo underneath the tier 2 tower. So Skull still keeping this one firmly in their favor, at least as this mid game starts to be a bit more of a back and forward here. But you get the sense now that Skull might have just found the right gears that they were looking for, able to at least hit into 3rd gear and feeling a little bit more comfortable. It seems like their composition starts to maybe come a little bit more online.
Yeah, and we're in this weird spot now where TJ's doing analysis. Yeah, this literally should have been blah, 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 blah. Where did Cupid come from? Oh my goodness, he's dead. Wow, that's crazy. And wow, it doesn't look like Skull are going to get anything else from that. Cupid just wanted a BM. And then Judas picks it back up and starts talking about all this.
The 15-minute mark.
Yeah, I definitely feel like
okay, we drop it not too far off. Could have been dropped sooner.
Especially with the fact that they've been managing to maintain a solid lead. It's generally been even. Wow, what?
And then as soon as Judas gets the mic, that's so funny. It's on site. The players hear Judas' voice and it's like, no, bring back the other guy.
I'm just gonna let this one go. Tunes combined with Oath there.
It's a great pop in from TJ.
It's generally been even. Wow.
Oh, that's
I'm
so
just gonna
funny.
Let this one go. Tunes
I'm just gonna let this one go. Don't let that go. Dude, like, you can build on what you saw the first time, right? Tons comes in and deletes another carry in a second. Moving on. Or, like, Tons comes into the mid lane, kills a guy, refuses to elaborate. Like, you can build something funny off the back of that, I think, rather than just saying, I'm not gonna touch on that. Especially with that reaction from TJ. It's fucking priceless.
Equals a dead.
Blazy, there's a thief in chat? Where? Get him, Omen! Where's my police? Brit! Where's Brit? Police!
Beefy Geo.
Brit, please!
Pop the beads, but
it's Surf.
I ain't gonna say you that. And That's something that
Is
BPG
Surf
needs
a
to be
thief?
so aware of right now. It's something that all of the visionaries need to.
I'm not stealing your your content, I promise. What? What are you doing? Are you restreaming my stream? Well, joke's on you! Now I'm stealing your content of me stealing my content! Contentception! Okay, we're not going to do this, though. Oh,
Watch out
funny.
for it. Tunes
That's
on
very
this
funny.
armor has
Hello,
got the
Skull.
items they-
Skull. Hello, subs chat. How we doing, guys? Welcome, welcome to the VOD review. We're looking over some of the other casts from some of the other members of the European Smite community caster pool, including myself, Judas, Supersonic Blur, some of the names that you might have heard of around the scene. If you are enjoying the content and you like the sound of my voice and my fluffy hair that has a little comb in it, you can come over to this channel and press the follow button. Yeah.
they need. They've got the Berserker Shield online.
There
with
goes
the
the
King's
comb.
Blade as well. That's when armor just does a lot of quick damage,
no.
and if you're not locking them down
No.
and bursting them out, yeah, Chris Scopo
Chris
knows.
Scopo's like, oh,
This
no,
is
no, no.
Toons' jungle. There is nothing you can do about it right now.
Don't say
and
that in my
this
chat,
is
dude. Go
armor
say
Toons'
that to
time
your
to
chat.
shine.
My chat
They
already
actually drop
follows
off a
me.
little bit in these later stages, but Visionaries need
The
to buy
cheat.
this time now. I don't
The
want to see
sheer
them get
goal.
too active here. I want to see them just keeping it out for Toons, keeping everything safe, trying to keep these towers up if they can. Maybe sacrifice that tier 1 tower on right, and then of course keeping that fire giant up. But for the next few
Oh, yeah,
moments,
yeah.
Toons is just going to run this map.
Toon's literally just going to be appearing out of the jungle around these
Really
walls,
like that
jump
breakdown, by the way,
scaring
Judas.
members of the Visionaries.
You've identified appropriately where the kind of main threat is going to be, and it is Toons just coming into a lane, murdering a dude, and then running away. Imagine watching Surf when you can watch Blazy Bard, watch Surf, watch Blazy. Fucking imagine, dude. Why am I over here? I want to be over here. I'm going this way. Leave me alone.
But, you know, as I say, it's about keeping up that knowledge. You need to know where Toon is at every point in this game. Get the wards down. But make sure you are not actually the ward yourself, though, Jude Muffin. Can't afford to
That's
be
funny.
picked off and suffer the same fate as Beefy Geo here.
There's something so ironically unfunny about a joke happening, and I'm just there like, huh?
But already the Skull Jungle are carrying on.
Hi,
the
it's
performance of
silly.
Game number
Press the
one
follow
into
button
game
if you
number
enjoy the
two.
content.
Now,
You
once
can
it-
be my 3,690th follower. That could be you. You could be 369. That could be you. You could be number 369. Yo! Thank you so much, Tiddly, for the follow. Thank you so much for enrolling into the College of Bards. I hope you're having a phenomenal time.
how Visionaries respond. As you say, get their foundations, get the wards down, get the knowledge going, but eventually they've got to try and solve this problem that Skull are posing.
And Toons is a
I like
very
that. I like that
difficult
pass back to
problem
Judas.
to have a solution
Now I have you on
for,
two
right?
screens.
Because what I'm seeing.
I control the screens. I am every screen. I will become every screen. Every screen will become me. And I will be every screen all the time. Every me, every screen. What's that plot point from Incredibles 2? I'm the screen slaver. I am the screen man.
Is that Toons can only
I'm getting
really
too
blow up
distracted.
one person
I'm
at
here
a
to do
time.
work.
But
Fuck.
they can still do that within 3 or 4 enemies, right? They can still do that through your team. So you almost need to bounce the aggro, juggle it like it's a raid boss to really get
Judas,
through
drop it like
this
it's hot,
challenge
bro.
here,
This
but
is a full
not being
team
able to
fight.
do
Whoa!
that through your team. So you almost need to bounce the
As soon as this is
piece, right? You can
happening,
still do that
this
through
is a
your
fight.
team. So you almost need to bounce the aggro, juggle it like it's a raid boss to really get through this challenge here, but not going to be able to do that
We're still
in time
talking-
for this Pyromancer, but a huge scrap abilities go flying in mid.
a huge scrap abilities go flying in mid. That's crazy. Bro, like, you need to get out of this so much faster. That wasn't just a few ability. Like, okay, yes, nothing substantially happened, but Beefy Geo's used all of his bombs. Ymir, I think, has just used his ult to help secure the pyro. That's pretty big. Beads are down from armor. Fenrir has just been forced to use his beads. Like, some important stuff has happened. And you're just there like, I'm
to do that in time for the
What are we
boss to really
talking
get
about
through
even?
this challenge here, but not going to be
We're
able to
talking
do
about the
that.
state of the game. We're talking about comeback potential. There's a massive fight happening. The Pyromancer's just gone down. Gold Fury's up, so whoever wins this fight is gonna, get gold at least. If it's Visionaries who win, that's a tier 1 and gold easily. Tons being a raid boss, right? Like, yeah.
in time for this
This should have been dropped by you, like.
more enemies, right? They can still do that through your team. So
Now that you're seeing Great Archer going towards this fight, you know the rest of the team is right there with him. I think this is a... and now, it's the fight for the Fire Giant that Skull have already gotten. Visionaries are stepping up.
you almost need to bounce the aggro, juggle it like it's a raid boss to really get through this challenge here, but not going to be able to do that in time for this Pyromancer, but a huge scrap abilities go flying in mid.
Visionaries really want to start this fight
Yeah,
in, and
that's
also
just
takes on towards
so
Toonscap, but the
crazy.
Fields of Love from Samuel is just too perfect. And Oath takes down Ginger Archer. Visionaries retreat back towards their mid lane here, but they tried to get the kill onto Toonscap. They focused so much, but they lost sight of what really mattered. Samuel comes up big.
I
what
think
I'm talking about.
that's like, you do the best that you can here, TJ. You're welcome, Omen. I think you do the best that you can here, TJ, to recover and pick up with what Judas has left you. But like, again, we get into this moment now where Skull have won the fight. We're in this weird moment now where
They lost sight of what really mattered.
we're
Samuel
cooling
comes
off.
up big.
I think Visionaries are going to
That's what
try
I'm
and go
talking
back
about.
in,
You
or at least they're
can't-
going to get re-engaged onto. But TJ has to drop because you dropped it so late. Whereas if you dropped it early, TJ gets in sooner, can drop it right after the aggression stops in mid and they start walking over. You talk about the walk over to the left-hand side, Skull now positioning for the Gold Fury. We see this wall come out, TJ is able to pick it up from
Just
here.
focus tunes. There's so much
Um,
more on the table. A great River's Rebuke, but I'm not sure it's going to spare you, Muffin.
Well, it turns out this
Yeah, and then we get into this awkward spot where now you've dropped to TJ right at the end of the fight. Yeah, That bit of awkward cast there comes right off the back of you not dropping fast enough in mid. That's the big
Skull
problem
actually
there.
have quite the rebuke to what that support was trying to do there. It's a free pickup as they find Ginger Archer moments before, and now Dude Muffin
Silly Goofy. Silly Goofy TJ. It's funny. It doesn't make sense, but
and his Gold Fury rightfully theirs as well. Now, Visionaries, this is what we were worried about, though, Judas. This
maybe they're rebuking the actions of the support there. I don't know. It's like you're like right there.
feels
Big sad. It's okay. It happens to the best of us, man. I think the problem is because you're like a main chair 1 who's learning chair 2, right? Judas, is that fair to say?
like they are starting to lose
pretty sure that's
control
right.
of this game as Skull take a second consecutive Gold Fury.
Does it count as a caster curse, TJ, if the team just does the exact opposite of what I said they should do?
That's exactly what the caster curse is. I think I have less than 10 casts in chair 2. Yeah. So like, don't get too much into it, right? Because you've got this moment where you're learning a whole new skill set. And you're just like trying to figure out what exactly it is that you need to do in that chair 2 role. So don't fucking flagellate yourself. Just acknowledge that as chair 1s, we're used to speaking when the fight's happening, and that can bleed over when we are doing. You can't say that to me. That's that's. You can't fucking say don't glaze me, blaze me. That's not. God damn it. as Shell ones, we're used to talking when the fight's happening, right? So don't like beat yourself up over it. Just acknowledge that when you're in that second chair, you gotta learn to drop it sooner when the fights were saying, right? The same thing that you said to Zats the other day. You gotta decide, are you gonna get out late and fast or quick and slow? But you can't do neither. you have to pick one.
They just had to find a foundation, but took great offense at the Pyromancer being down. Just committed too much forward for that. Then it opens the door to a gold Fury. Look, if you just keep everything tight, let the Pyro go, then you can, just by virtue of presence on the map, prevent Skull from pulling that gold Fury. But what was a 3,000 gold deficit turns into a 4,000 gold deficit.
Also, we got to sort out whatever that audio leak is, because the whole game, I've been hearing you guys double.
For the Visionaries to
that's got to
the
get sorted.
Strongest player so far
ASAP.
has been Spyro on this Fenrir, but Fenrir, especially in the current level, the way that the current items work and the build path that Spyro has gone for, going to start dropping off in terms of damage. The damage needs to come from somewhere. It's going to be Beefy Geo and Kraskovo. They just need to be protected from Toon Scout. The Fire Giants get pulled. Duderoffen instead facing the Wrath of Skull, but it's gonna come.
Oh my god, these walls have been so
really
fucking
nice
sexy.
to come out as well. And
Where is she supposed to go? And again, Judas, like way too late, too slow.
Facing the Wrath, be protected from. Needs to come from somewhere. It's gonna be Beefy Geo and Kraskovo. They just need to be protected from Toon Scout. The Fire Giants get pulled. Duderoffen instead facing the Wrath of Skull, but it's
like that's Fire Giants pulled. Judemuffin instead facing the Wrath of Skull, and then you let TJ come in.
Huge in their way.
Okay, you don't get out too much further than that. I just think.
Skull, but it's gonna come huge in their way.
Yeah, you throw in like 8 or 9 unnecessary words there. That you should have just left that for TJ. Nice. And again, TJ, I think you come in low.
Facing the Wrath of Skull, but it's.
I've decided to get out. Yeah, and I'm stuck. Yeah. Word vomit. Yeah. Stepcaster, I'm stuck. That's what's happened. Right, let's.
Gonna come huge in their way.
Gonna come huge in their way. I think you drop low.
Swift.
Yeah, TJ picks up where you drop him, so it's not necessarily TJ coming, like, picking up low from you. I think you drop really it too low. Like, this is a pretty big deal fight, again, right? Fire Giant is on the line here for whichever team can get out of this fight clean. So, like, yeah, I would have dropped this higher.
Skull, but it's gonna come huge in their way.
Like, dropping it up here, honestly, it's gonna face the Wrath of Skull. It is a good level.
Mortal Swift with a really nice wall to come out as well, and even the ultimate coming out from Balzac's no way for Judemuffin to go out. That allows the team to fight for it, though, as Toon takes and Spyro. But here comes the response from Visionaries. It looks like they're able to get some damage down, and Toon gets shut down, though, inside of that ultimate, as well as Visionaries able to answer back.
Every time this on her steps anywhere, he just is fucked. He just dies. Cupid comes out of some butt crack of nowhere, ults him, and he dies.
Still had the ult, he still had the damage, and Visionaries lose sight of where that Cupid went. 3 members are dropped here. It's a 2 versus 1, and Visionaries want absolutely nothing to do with the Skull mid and ADC.
All right, look, this is still great for Visionaries. The Fire Giant's still alive. You get 3 kills in the pocket.
Yeah, I think I think that was a really good pickup overall, TJ. I think you do a really good job with that fight. I think it should have come in higher.
All right, look, this is still great for Visionaries.
With the versus 1, and Visionaries want absolutely nothing to do with the Skull mid and ADC.
All right, look,
I think you got to drop it sooner.
3 members of damage, and Visionaries lose sight of where that Cupid went. 3 members are dropped here. It's a 2 versus 1, and Visionaries want absolutely nothing to do with the.
Yeah, 3 members have dead, leading to a 2v1, and now Ginger Archer has to make his way out, right?
Goal mid and ADC.
All right, look, this is
Similar
still
kind of
great for
thing. Yeah, it's
Visionaries.
fine.
The Fire Giant's still alive. You get 3 kills in the pocket. In particular, another shutdown onto Toons there. That's what you need to do. You then need to just take what you've won and look to back away. You see Kraskova then leaping over the mid lane wall. No clue what was on the other side of it, trying to reach for this kill onto Oath, I believe that was. And then Samuel just shooting fish in a barrel, just flinging that bow, shot after shot into the back of Kraskova's head. And it didn't need to happen. That's what means this goal deficit basically stays as it was. And now, with the Pyromancer going the way of Skull, the Fire Giant will be pulled again, right? The Visionaries haven't improved their position much, if at all.
Get out.
And it just means this can keep happening.
Okay, good.
I mean,
Yeah,
Jim
good.
Rivers had to use
That was a good
Phantom
drop.
Shell Nat. With the way that Immortal Swift's playing, that is going to be a big cooldown to punish. Pyromancer secured by Skull. It's another runic bomb. Make that free in the pockets for Skull as well. If
That's a
they
lot of
find
bombs.
that winning team fights,
That's
these
too many
hours,
bombs.
These Phoenixes are not going to be lasting much longer here. And I like this from Skull, you know, forced a response. They don't think the Visionaries can do anything about it, so they go for the most forcing move in Smite to start up the Fire Giants here. But they have had to back away, though. They're not waiting around. You've got
Runic
two split
carpet
pushing on the
bomb,
left-hand
right?
side. You've got Samuel on the right here. Ginger
Skull's about
Archer
to get
is
added
so
to a group
far
chat
forward.
with the
Visionary
US
squad actually
government.
at the tier 2 of the Skull team, and Immortal Swift deny, not gonna happen. You will not, do not pass go, do not collect £200, and all of that jazz.
I like that. That's funny.
That's painful for
I think that if you had ended that on do not collect 200,
Pounds and all
yeah, do not pass go, do not collect 200 pounds. Like, I think that's a stronger end. You lose the steam.
of that jazz.
That's painful.
That's
for
such a hot
Spyro,
drop,
man.
though. If
And it's
you
so
end it with the
unnecessary.
don't
Again, I
collect
don't really
200
know
pounds, that's so
what
hot.
Visionaries are doing stepping up like that. Look at this, they're being pummeled in mid.
Good.
BPGOs.
Beautiful. Judas, that was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. Even though it's too late, it's not too late because you held it too long. We just got to that fight in mid too late from a camera perspective, and there was action going off elsewhere. But that was perfect. TJ drops to you for like 3 seconds. You say a little bit, you see the fight, you identify it, you get out quick, you pass it back
Going
to
to drop
TJ.
there at Skull, just
Masterclass.
in full flight here, taking down 3 members in the blink of an eye. As you can see, Spyro and Ginger Archer trying to deal with Toon. The beats do come out, able to avoid the stun there, but the
The fuck was that? No, don't let
taking down
fucking Tons
3
get away
members
with.
in the
This
blink
is
of an
terrible.
eye. As you can see, Spyro and Ginger Archer
Why did he beads? Can you beads and execute now? Did I miss something? Why does he beads? Judas, you have to tell me. Does beads immune out executes? Death is the
Let's try to deal with
scariest
Toon. The
CC. That's not an answer. Fuck sake. That's... Someone crucify him for those
do
beads.
come out to avoid the stun there, but the damage is already
Also, the fact that he didn't get touched by the execute is criminal. He was like fucking 10 pixels off the
from
range.
Toon, and Skull want to add insult to injury.
And Smite
They
one
call
that
a
hits.
Fire Giant, and there's only one way this objective's going.
And it's just
Fine, I like that drop.
unfortunately
That's
for
perfectly
Visionaries,
fine.
Skull just outthinking the map here. They send Toons to the left-hand side to split push, and they know that the Visionaries know there is nothing that any one player can do to react to Toons. They can't 1v1 them no matter what. So they just decide to barrel roll down mid lane and not really seem to commit to finding picks
Okay.
or pushing.
Here's something I'm gonna say, right? We are 23 minutes into this game. I don't think we've once talked on the fact that there's a 5-level difference in the ADC lane. And there's XP deficits across the entire thing. I don't know that we've really touched much on graphs at all. And I think that's something that we could have spent a little time on in some of these downtimes a little earlier, like before this fight. Just touching on the sheer disparity and then talking maybe a little bit about how Visionaries could get their way back in. Because I think a lot of the conversation has now tumbled over towards Tons and what Tons is doing and what Skull are doing. But at some point we need to pull that back and go, okay, We know Skulls are on a roll. We know they are 12,000. Sorry, 12,000 gold in the lead at 23 minutes. We all know that this is probably a Visionaries L. No, we're not saying that out loud. But then it's Judas, your turn to then go, okay, what can Visionaries do here to bring the game back in their favor? You might do that in a second. Let me listen to the rest
tier
of
2
this.
tower in mid. You had some other players getting walled off by Immortal Swift in the jungle.
So just talking about how
None
Skull
of that is
fucked them.
effective for Visionaries.
Which
they
is
end
true.
up having to retreat because they've
You're-
gone,
you're-
"Oh,
you're
you know
telling
what,
the
this isn't
truth."
quite
Mm.
working. Let's try and defend the left lane, Phoenix. Then being pinched by Skull, who are not letting that happen. And while Toons doesn't get that left side Phoenix, and you'd count that as a small win for the Visionaries, it gives up this Fire Giant. It gives up all of the map presence now to Skull. It gives them a 12,000 gold lead and an Ancient Fury on top of it. It's just so bad. Are they going to hold this? Are they going to hold this for the tier 1 and right? No, they're not. They're not going to do that. They're just going to let that happen. Oh, well, waste one Ancient Fury thing. But you know what? How many more advantages do you need, TJ, if you are Skull right now? The game is in their favor.
What is this? What are you talking about? Gold Fury things.
It's just so bad. Are they going to hold this? Are they going to hold this for the tier 1 and right? No, they're not. They're not going to do that. They're just going to let that happen. Oh, well, waste one.
What? This, I genuinely, for my own education, could you explain this to me? Oh, Cat, hello. I'm so sorry. I don't have for whatever reason, my follow-up alarm isn't fucking going off on my ear. Cat 42,000. Thank you so much for enrolling into the College of Bards. Tier 1 and right was about to go down. Yes, I understand. Oh, Ancient Fury debuffs 1 structure per lane. Oh, I thought just debuffed everything. Okay, so they just fully misplayed then. Cool. I think I would have liked to have heard you explain that. Do you explain that?
Thing. But you know what? How many
Ancient
more
Fury
advantages
thing.
do you...
I think maybe you should have gone into that. You should have leaned into that. Oh, are they gonna wait for this tier 1 tower to go down, so that they can use the Ancient Fury's debuff on the tier 2 tower instead? Oh, they didn't do that. A little bit of a misplay there from Skull. But you know, how many advantages do they need? Just to educate me specifically, and all the other people who don't know.
TJ, if you are Skull right now. The game is so in their favor, and unfortunately, it just comes down to some mistakes.
I think if it was a close game, it would be right, but I kind of disregard it. I can see what you're talking about. Good thing to go into for. Oh, right. Cool. As in, like, the advantage would be important if it was a close game, but yeah, no, I think you're right to kind of be there. Like, you know, what more advantages do they need? I'm just thinking. That's such a, well, it's not even probably a niche mechanic, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that was how that worked. I thought it just debuffed everything. So I think I would have liked just a small touch to just be there. Like, are they gonna save it for this? Because that's how that works.
Collapsing under
It's a
the
little
pressure
thing.
from Visionaries, but you have to give full credit to the way that Skull have played this. Tactically, it's been beautiful. The way that they sent Toons to that split push was masterful, like I'd said, and they responded to what Visionaries did correctly at all times. They have just outthought Visionaries, like I said right at the start. It just seems to be Skull know what they want to do and how they want to react, and they're playing as a tight unit. Visionaries still have an opportunity at a Phoenix defense, but it's not going to be easy.
The Skull are going to turn up that pressure.
Yeah, again, I think at some point the conversation has to shift away from how good Skull are doing to what Visionaries need to do. You gotta try at the very least and convince me, the audience, that there's a reason to root for Visionaries still.
5 members of the...
Just wanted to drop in and say hi before going to bed. So hi, Kina. Need to dangle the carrot. Yeah. You gotta give the audience a reason to still watch, right? Because if you're just glazing Skull, I'm like, okay, game's over. Why am I watching? Hi, Kina. Have a nice night. Thank you so much for dropping in.
The Chaos side. Moving onto this left-hand side.
Good
They
night,
should try
French.
and mount some form of defense, but Ancient Fury has disabled the Phoenix on the left-hand side. He also comes out from Mortal Swift, and that's going to be the go button. The ultimates get thrown down. The River's Rebuke actually turns into a red carpet for the team to follow. But no one's dropped just yet, though, as Visionary is able to get back in towards the base. Platoon doesn't even care about that as the dazzling offensive comes out, gets the kill. Ginger Archer's down.
I think... So, TJ, I like the cast. I like the words that you're saying. I like the way that you're saying them. this is a potentially game-ending fight in the left lane, right? Like if Skull kill 3 members and get the Phoenix, they have every right to push for the Titan.
Hand side is
And
all 5.
Here's
but it's not going to be
potentially set
Skull
ending
gonna
too,
turn
right?
up.
And like,
how you want
yes,
to read
Judas sets it for you
Phoenix
low,
defense, but it's not going to be easy.
but that's because there's no action immediately happening,
Skull
right?
gonna turn up that pressure. All 5 members of the Chaos side moving onto this left-hand side. He's gonna try.
It sounds like you're tired, which is fair. It's been, this is a set. This is game 2 of a set. You're gonna be tired. But like, I'm not feeling the energy of a call that could be the last call in the game. Right? Like, this should be at least probably a 4 right now. I feel like we're at a 3. This should be at least a 4. That's low. Probably a 5. Moving up to a 6. Getting ready to go to a 7.
Try and mount some form of defense, but Ancient Fury has disabled the.
And like at this point, feel free to ramp up a lot quicker too. Like you're going like through every gear. Don't be afraid to go from 3rd gear to 6th gear if something happens quickly, like it does here, right? This fight kind of pops off all at once.
Fury has disabled
Where
the feed.
Ymir comes round, Fields of
Phoenix
Love
on the
comes
left-hand
down,
side.
Rivers Rebuke comes
Also
down.
comes out from Mortal Swift, and that's going to be the go button. The ultimates get.
Like, look at the cooldown timers here. Kabrakan ult, Neith ult, Ymir ult, Cupid ult, Yamoja ult, Fenrir ult. All of these abilities have happened in the last 5-10 seconds. And you sound like you're casting like the first fight in the mid lane
Left-hand side.
at 6
Comes
minutes.
out from Mortal Swift, and that's going to be the go button. The ultimates get thrown down. The Rivers Rebuke actually turns into a red carpet for
Just
the
don't-
team
don't
to
be afraid to
follow.
go up a
The
little
no one's
faster.
dropped just yet, though, as Visionary is able to get back in towards the base. Platoon doesn't even care about
And I
that.
love that.
Dazzling
That's a great escalation, but it could have been higher. It could have been more.
offensive. Comes out, gets the kill. Ginger Archer's down. BVGO nowhere in sight, and Skull still have 5 members standing to take the middle bird here. Spyro looking for the re-engage.
Take the middle bird here. Drop it to Judas. Judas can take it for a second.
Still have 5 members standing to take the middle bird here. Spyro.
And now it's going to be Fenrir having to jump away, but Skull is still going to keep on charging.
They nearly froze the heart bomb onto the rest of his team.
Right? Like, you can drop it to Judas. Judas can say one sentence and throw it back to you for the end call, because I can hear
Standing to
in
take
your
the
voice
middle bird
right
here,
here,
Spyro.
you want to drop it. I can hear it. We can all feel it. It's the right place for you to drop. Trust that instinct. Let Judas take
Looking
it
for the
from you.
re-engage, but the stun, the CC chain, and Spyro has to get out of there. Nearly froze the heart bomb onto the rest of his team, but he's going back to base. Samuel on a rampage, a Skull rampaging through the throne room, and their eyes will turn on towards the Titan. Jude Muffin and Crest Komodo duo lane. What can they do? But whatever it's going to do, it's not going to be enough, because the Titan is the target, and Skull are going to close out this series 2-0 in their week 2 game against Visionaries.
Yeah, and I think because you don't let Judas take it there, you're really starting to flag by the end call. And I think again the lowness that you come into that, because you started that call at the left Phoenix, and you kept it going for the entire time. I think that the fact that you started that pitch so low, and then came up, it felt like you didn't want to push it further. This doesn't sound like an end call to
Skull
me.
rampaging through the throne room, and their eyes will turn on towards the Titan. Jude Muffin and Crest Komodo duo lane. What can they do? But whatever it's going to do, it's not.
Yeah, like, you have a really good setup here. Skull rampaging through the Titan room until they turn their eyes on the main objective, and it's gonna be the Titan falling as Muffin and Kresco look on with helplessness in their eyes, right? Like, you have a stronger way to end this. Instead, you kind of go back to like, oh, what can they do? They can't do anything, and now the Titan's dead. It just feels limper than you're capable of, and it feels less exciting than it should be for an end set call, right? Not even. I mean, it would be exciting if it was taking us to a game 3, but the fact that it's ending the set is
And on
just
towards
as
the
exciting.
Titan, Jude Muffin and Chris Komodo duo lane. What can they do? But
It just
whatever
feels like
it's
it ends
gonna
a bit
do,
limp.
It's not gonna be enough because the Titan is the target, and Skull are gonna close out this series 2-0 in their week 2 game against Visionaries.
Like, the end part is really good. The start part is really good. So I'm going to consider the
He's a
start
Skull
from
ramp team, but he's going back to base. Samuel on a rampage.
this part here.
Skull rampaging through the throne room, and their eyes will turn on towards the Titan. Jude Muffin
That super strong.
and Chris Komodo duo lane. What can they do? But whatever it's gonna do, it's not gonna be enough
That was really messy.
because the Titan is the target, and Skull are gonna close out this series 2-0 in their week 2 game against Visionaries.
And that was pretty good. You've got like a shit sandwich with the bread. You've got like 2 slices of premium sourdough sandwiching like, I don't know, like cold spaghetti. It's messy. It's fine. It tastes okay. The bread is really carrying it, and the filling kind of got lost along the way. It was really good and cool. Again, same piece of advice I gave to Blur.
AJ,
Find a
remember
different place to position your
About
mic
10
because
minutes ago, I said that Toons could very
there's no
easily
reason
1v1
why I
someone
should be looking at fucking Leafy as his setup. Right? Like, are you trying to hide your chin? You don't need to hide your chin. Your chin is beautiful. Show us your chin. I get it if that's where the mic needs to be for the cast. Maybe move it to like here, pointed to, still in front and pointed towards your face. So your noise gate isn't canceling out too much. And again, these ring pop mics really bad. What I would recommend is you can buy them on Amazon for super cheap. Or you can get little pop filters. Ignore the fact that mine is shaped like a Ditto Torchic. But you can get little pop filters that go on those mics. And you can even then customize them, make them look a little silly, goofy, or fun, or whatever. And that also then frees up a lot more space for your face, which is, you know, we're here for the voice, but we stay for the face. We're here for the face, we stay for the voice.
in the middle of 4 people. That's what happened. Takes off Beefy Geo and whatever type of Phoenix defense that they were going to have there, the Visionaries, it relied on Beefy Geo's consistent damage output on that Agni. I believe they could have done it, but when Toons just shuts down the mid lane like that, it's impossible. That was literally the only thing left that the Visionaries had in the pocket, and Skull, fantastic option again, fantastic target prioritization, and yeah, you literally just wind up Toonscap, set them off on a mission to go kill someone, and did it fantastically. That really like what we saw there from Skull. They're going to be a team to beat, TJ. I don't really know how you do that. They had to play so well, did Visionaries, just to retain parity, that ending up falling down to a 12,000 gold lead in a very quick instance as well. Just a very disappointing situation for Visionaries to find themselves in. But again, full credit to Skull there. Did a really good job. And yeah,
We got to stop glazing these players, man.
Situation for
Like, they
Visionaries
played
to find
okay.
themselves.
Don't-
Ending up
It's not
falling
overstated,
down to a
right? Any like high level Smite player is gonna watch those games and go, okay. I mean, I don't know if I'm just a fucking bully, but like, the players don't deserve this much glaze.
12,000 gold lead in a very quick instance as well.
I also think that you should find a way to get out here sooner.
Just a very disappointing situation for Visionaries to find themselves in. But
That's a stop right there.
they can. Full
And then
credit
you keep
to
going
Skull there. Did a
to
really
glaze
good
them.
job. And yeah, if we don't, I would expect to see them near the top of the table coming the end of the season.
Really? Yeah? You sure? I mean, I haven't seen the other teams. I'm like, I don't know. This is week 2. Feels like a very strong claim. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's always iffy when, because obviously we don't see everything that happens in a league. I don't know about you yourself, but I haven't seen us have access to like all the tables and standings and all that kind of stuff. So it's a hard call to make, right, based on only the games that we see and not the games that are played off stream. I think it's a big, bold claim to make that could very easily backfire and age like milk. So just be careful with stuff like that. I would focus more in the end here to focus more on, you know, the match, the things. Maybe, I mean, even at this stage in the game, giving a little advice to Visionaries, I think is absolutely fine, right? It, like, here, starting to talk about, okay, whatever the fucking team was called, Skull did really well, blah, 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 blah. Visionaries, though, they had some signs of life. They, you know, maybe they need to do this, this, and this before their next sets. Maybe get a little bit more practice in this, blah, 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 blah. You know, I've been saying kind of for the past 10 minutes of game time that the conversation has needed to shift back towards Visionaries and what they can do, especially if this is an ongoing tournament, right? Giving them that ability both personally, you know, if they come in and watch the stream, they get that little bit of advice, and then also publicly to tell the viewers, hey, the next time you see Visionaries, they might be even better. Here's what they have to do, though, to make that happen. So next time you see them, watch out for these things that they may have done better. I think that's probably a better use of your time here at the end screen.
I really get the sense, Judas, that Skull were able to just kind of
Slower division, those games are normally trash.
And they were making the Visionaries.
We know that.
Exactly
Don't
where
tell
they
them
wanted to
that.
go with the split push, just the macro decisions coming out, and also we've seen the micro as well from this entire squad as well. Dare I say, Judas, to ask about an MVP at this point for this series?
Tough calls, I would think. So
I think, yeah, I love Kashi. I think we are on the stat screen for not enough time. I think it's so important. But, I mean, the fact that you guys didn't touch on anything on this board, I think is the bigger thing here. Like, how interesting is it that Cabrakan ended up with top damage there? Even though we didn't really talk about Cabrakan. I don't know about you guys. I didn't really see Cabrakan for, like, the back 10 minutes of that game. Yeah, he still walks away with, what, 4,000 more damage than the ADC on his team? Meanwhile, like, we haven't talked about Kreskovo, like, once. And I think, you know, we got to talk about, you know, the Vision. Vision's really great. Yamoja ends the game with 18 wards placed, which you could even make the argument at this point, right? When you're that far behind, is it worth taking the then 50 times 18, 50 times 10 would be 500, times another 8 would be another 400, so the 900 gold, which is like half an item, right? Like, you know, you could talk about how, you know, that's a lot of gold to be paying when you are only, you know, when you only have 400 GPM, right? So there's a lot to talk about on this detail screen that if you're, you know, if you want to find some things to touch on before the next game, or I mean, I guess in this set, just before you close out, but, you know, leave them with something statistical to talk about.
Series?
Like, the MVP thing is cute, but I think it's one of those questions that's like, it's cute, but, like, realistically, Tons is going to be the MVP because he's the one we saw the most. But, like, I don't know that I love the who's the MVP chat.
About an MVP at this point for this series?
Especially in just one set
tough
days.
calls, I would think.
Right, if we were doing, like, a tournament rather than, like, a league, I think it'd be different, because in a tournament, we see all those games, we see how the players have played throughout the event, and you can, at the end of that, go, this player was the most valuable consistently, whereas in these kind of series, these sets, it's just like, okay, this player did well twice.
So two options here. Toons obviously went totally nuts.
Yeah.
And if you just look at it from a full gameplay perspective, then Toons just really ran the show. But I'm going to have to give an honorable mention because I'm not certain on this information and I might be spreading.
Yeah, I try and put in
misinformation.
as much feedback for like production and spectator as I can into these as well, Kashi. It's also part of the reason I think I pinged, is it Kat, who did the camera work for your guys' first set that I reviewed, giving Kat a little bit of feedback. I think it's why the OBS team and the production team should also have access to all these VOD review channels.
On the internet, which no one likes to do, apart from me right now.
Who would do such a thing?
If Immortal Swift was leading that team, as I've seen them lead teams in the past, I would have to give a big mention to them because the way that the map was done...
like, again, and this kind of highlights my problem with the whole MVP question, is you have to guess at what's happening behind the scenes to make an honorary call that might be completely wrong, right? And it's fine for the audience because, you know, they're like, cool, cute. But, like, if the team is watching that and that hasn't happened, they're like, fuck is he talking about? Right? So you're putting yourself in that weird position where to answer TJ's question, you have to kind of stretch and reach to answer. Also, I've just noticed the map of Sinnoh on your poster there, and I really highly appreciate that. Second favorite region.
Has to come from the top, right? That comes from leadership of the team and organization of the team. And that's what really impressed me about Skull. As much as Toons was going nuts and everyone else did their part exactly as they needed to, the way that the whole team played as a unit was very, very impressive. So I really liked what we saw from them. But overall, I know that gamers love to see what we saw on screen. So I'm going to have to give it to Toons today, but really good performance. And yeah, would love to see some more from them.
For sure here, what a performance there coming from Skull. And just before we wrap up here, Judas, as well, you know, you got to have some commiserations to Visionary as well. I felt Game 2 was a bit more of a, as I said on the cast, a bit more representative of what these players can do. They were actually able to play the MOBA and actually exist on the match.
What's the
before
question?
Skull
What's the point?
ultimately did overpower them in
What's the
the
point?
end. So I'm looking forward to see how Visionaries react here, but I think there are some positives they can certainly take about going up against probably one of the stronger teams we have here in the lower division.
We don't know that.
I would say so. I would be very shocked if there were more teams as strong than or stronger than Skull. But hey, if there are, I'd love to watch those.
Again, I get what you're trying to build here, but it just feels so... To me, knowing the position that we're in as casters, where we're just not privy to that knowledge, it feels very disingenuous, because we don't know, right? Like, you know, yes, if all the teams are like... Visionaries, Skogs, you know, stomps them all. But if, you know, we don't know what those teams are like, I'm worried about the position it puts you in
as well, because
from
man, it was really fun to see Skull and seeing a team of
informational reliability
we do tend to see
standpoint.
The lower caliber of players down here, but at the same time,
and again, same thing that I said to Blur. Don't say it's lower caliber players. That's the easiest way to turn off your audience and piss off your players.
Still play really, really well. That doesn't mean you are at your ceiling, right? This is where you play to
I knew it.
Yeah,
you called it from the start.
In the upper division, who might be looking at this team going, "Hey, you know, I'd like to play like that. If we played like that."
Yeah, this just feels really. It feels patronizing. If I was one of these players, I'd be like, bro.
We might do better as well. So, yeah, I think...
Like, I know full well if I played in one of these lower division leagues, I'd get my ass fucking handed to me. So, you know?
Skull, like
yeah.
you said, probably one of the higher up teams.
I think this is the perfect time, Judas, where you could have highlighted some of the stuff from the scoreboard, like I said. So this is where you could have potentially highlighted how many wards Umoja had. You could have talked about how Thingy looked on her. How he got so far behind in the early game, they didn't really find an answer to bring him back into the game, etc., etc. Rather than talking about kind of all this. I do think we went on one question too long overall. Yeah, I did feel like you were looking to wrap it up, and then TJ was like, I want to talk about this a little bit more. Which, I mean, in fairness, I do like that you cover Visionaries, but it is what I said you should have covered as soon as you got back from game. So I think this whole conversation about Visionaries should have happened sooner. And whatever question it was that you guys were talking about beforehand, glazing the players, I think should have been skipped.
Teams, Visionaries, you can always get there. There's always time to recover in Tanuki. You just need to figure out your identity a little bit more. And getting to watch this game against Skull back might be very beneficial to them, actually. Get the spot where you might have gone wrong, what choices you'd made that you maybe want to make differently next time. And yeah, get the chance to see a team that is really well-oiled very quickly. As we said, it's week 2. It's unusual for a draft league team to get started so quickly, but Skull have. Take them as a blueprint and see what you can work on from them.
Cool.
O'Neal from here, my friends, and honestly, what a performance we've had here from week number 2 of Tanuki. What a game we've had. GG's and well played to Skull, and commiserations to Visionaries, but plenty more smart action coming your way as the Tanuki Draft League plays out. That's going to do it from us here on the cast for this game. What an absolute banger of a series we've had. So much to look forward to all of the players here. Big shout out to everyone involved, and also to the production team and the talents as well. Shouts to Kashi on production, Rosie on the observing. You had heard the voices of SSB and Zats on the desk. I've been TJ DJ.
It's
That's
cute.
Been
It's cute, but it feels so long. Like, I love that you're giving credit to everyone on the team, but like, it feels like we said goodbye. It feels like that really awkward moment at a party where you've already said goodbye and then you end up having another conversation for 20 minutes and then you say goodbye again and then you're stood literally 1 foot out the door having a chat for another 20 minutes before saying goodbye again and then having another chat, leaning out the car window for 20 minutes, and then you finally leave, right?
Obviously. And we have been the EMEA Smite 2 Broadcasting Network here. We look forward to seeing you again for some more Smite action.
I think this literally could have been
action coming your way. And friends, and honestly, what a performance we've had here.
I think this literally could have been what did you pick it up
For a
from?
draft league team to get started so quickly, but Skull have. Take them as a blueprint and see what you can work on from them.
O'Neal from here, my friends, and honestly, what a performance we've had here from
Work
Wait,
on
what?
from them.
No Neil?
O'Neal from here, my
No Neil from here? I didn't understand the words that TJ just said. I could be just brain rot. Could Judas, could you clarify?
Take them as a blueprint and see what you can work on from them.
O'Neal from here, my friends, and honestly,
It sounds like he's saying O'Neal from here. Only up from here makes more sense, but like maybe a little more diction on there. But this could have literally been only up from here, my friends. Tanuki Smite League just getting started. Thanks to our wonderful production team, Kashi and Rosie, for bringing you the broadcast and the observation. And we'll be back for more Tanuki, you know, whenever, right? We'll be back with more Tanuki next Saturday. Next Sunday, right? Or, you know, whatever it is. But I think you could have just ended it there. Still give a little nod to production. I don't think you need to give a nod to Blur and Zats because they've been on the production. People who've been watching the whole time know that they've been there. But giving a nice little shout out to Kashi and Rosie, I think is lovely because, you know, they're not seen. We don't have the overlay up for them, I don't think, to show off. This is who's observing, this is who's producing. So I think that little nod's great. Then just get out of here. I think this rambles on too long.
honestly, what a performance. TJ DJ. That's been again for some more Smite action. Take care and good night.
Yeah, I think you had like 3 or 4 places there where you could have gotten out a lot sooner and a lot cleaner. I think overall, folks, this was a really good cast. I think that's like that you should take away. Well, not every, but like 80% of the criticisms that I put to you were like, they could be criticisms, but here's an extenuating factor where it kind of, you made it work eventually in the end. So don't take any of this too rough. I think overall, as I said, you guys did a great cast. Just a little rough around the edges. The main points I'd like to highlight, obviously, Judas, make sure that you're getting out of there when you're on chair 2. Recognize when the fights are coming. Don't let your chair 1 monkey brain take over. TJ, kind of the same thing. Don't get lost in the source. Like, get out of a fight when you want to get out of a fight. Trust Judas to pick it up and throw it back to you. And then don't be afraid to play Judas like he's your piano, right? Ask him questions throughout the entire broadcast. If you don't know what to talk about, literally just pick a random thing and go, why have they done that? Right? Oh, what's that item that Sobek's building? Why are they doing that? What's the, what's the, what's the point in that, etc., etc., right? Don't be afraid to just put Judas on some little strings and dance him around. But yeah, that's the cast. That's the cast review. What's the deal, homie? Exactly. You just throw questions at him and see how he deals with them. Guys, I'm gonna throw you over to I'm Omen, who was in here earlier showing off his community a wonderful stream. So we're gonna go do the same for him. Thank you very much for joining me on this 4-hour stream. Gosh, little VOD review. Gone good. I hope the critique was fine. Blur, Judas, Zats, TJ, if anyone has any questions, any comments about the feedback, you want to discuss it, you want to tell me that I'm wrong about something, I welcome it. Just come talk to me, come tell me, and I will reply as such. Until Thursday, though, folks, where we'll be doing a little bit of a black and white stream, and then moving on to a cast afterwards. Remember to take all the lessons that you learn each day and carve them into your soul.